Preston, Neil McCann and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Yes, welcome to McDermott Park. Good atmosphere actually inside the ground. As Tyrone mentioned earlier on, around about 3,000 United fans have made the trip to Perth, and a good home support as well, and they're making plenty of noise, trying to back their side. The countdown is of course on, and these are two teams who do appear to be going in opposite directions just at the moment. St Johnstone have been on the slide for weeks and sit just 2 points above the playoff spot now. Dundee United look to have turned the corner, and if they can win this one, as many people are tipping them to do, they will do their hopes of survival an absolute power of good. The two teams emerge from the McDermott Park tunnel and onto the grass here and line up alongside the match officials. Alan Muir is in charge of this one, and Stephen Fletcher leads his Dundee United side down the line, shaking hands with their St Johnstone counterparts before the action begins. It's still a pretty chilly afternoon, it has to be said, at the start of May. No sign of summer as yet, but decent conditions, you would have to say, for a game of football. Not particularly windy, and the captains and the mascots and the referee just going through the usual pre-match rigmarole before we get underway. St Johnstone in their home kit of a blue top, white shorts and white socks. United also in their traditional tangerine tops, black shorts and tangerine socks. It's a fascinating encounter in prospect here this afternoon, with both sides far from safe, despite that upturn in form that Jim Goodwin has inspired in United. 3 wins on the trot. St Johnstone haven't won since they won at Tannadice, 7 games without a win. The sides will change ends before kick-off, and it means that St Johnstone, the home side, will be going from left to right as we look at it from the back of the main stand. And Mark Birighitti and Remy Matthews just head towards the opposite goals, and it will be United to kick us off. Jamie McGrath in the centre circle. He went off in that last game against Livingston, having scored early on, but as Neil McCann said earlier, so important for United to have him back. He's been such a big player for them of late. We're underway, and it's United who do get us kicked off, launched long early by Charlie Mulgrew, who's formed a good defensive partnership alongside Loic Kayina, as Jim Goodwin has gone with a 4 at the back, as he does do again this afternoon. St Johnstone trying to work it up to Stevie May, who nods it down, but it finds Romari Niskanen, who'll try and get away from Montgomery. Montgomery back down at his own corner flag, just tries to play it up the line. Does do, it's just drifted out of play, and it will be a Dundee United throw in on the far side. Alan Preston and Neil McCann alongside me here this afternoon. Alan Preston, first of all, a man who served both clubs with distinction. How do you see this one going?
I think it's going to be a very difficult game, but hard to predict. This depends on who settles first. The St Johnstone, I would have thought it might have been a 3, but it looks like a flat 4 they've gone. With Montgomery at left back, Brown at right back, and Gordon and Considine, the 2 centre halves. When Fletcher's putting up on his own, they don't really need that many bodies in and around him.
Charlie Mulgrew, long throw and flicked on by Fletcher. It's Betch with his back to goal, lays it into the path there of McGrath, who got a shot in, but it was blocked away. McMahon tries as well, but it's blocked out to the left hand side, and it's picked up again by McGrath down at the corner flag on the left hand side. He's through the legs of McPherson. Still McGrath, edge of the penalty area, gets it to the back post. Fletcher trying to make a nuisance of himself. St Johnstone trying to scramble it clear. United trying to get a couple of shots in on target. It's Freeman, it's blocked by Gordon on the edge of the box. Frenetic start to the game, eventually a foul by Betch on Dre Wright, about 30 yards from goal, and St Johnstone get a breather, Neil McCann, but a bright start by United.
Yeah, very much so. A bright start from Dundee United. You can see there just the impact Stephen Fletcher has. He wins a first header, and then Cameron McPherson gets done a little blindside run. But then afterwards, when the ball gets pumped into the box, he might not even win it, Stephen, but because his presence is there, he just creates panic. But Dre Wright just trying to slow things down for St Johnstone, just ease and alleviate the pressure, buys a free kick, and it allows St Johnstone into the game. But I like Stevie McLean's post-match or pre-match thoughts in terms of enjoy it. It's okay to say enjoy it, but he needs to alleviate the fear on this side. They're nervous just now.
Yeah, they are, and that's a nervy pass back from Brown. He's behind for a corner, and that just increases the nerves, doesn't it, Alan?
Well, Dundee United are shooting into their fans, you know, and they're frenetic at the moment. What a noise they're making, the United fans, and that won't help. It won't help the keeper, it certainly won't help the back four. But Stevie McLean has shown you he's putting his own stamp on it. We have known St Johnstone for many years to be a side that play three at the back. He's gone and changed it completely.
So United corner from the left hand side as Nicky Clark, the injured St Johnstone striker, makes his way with his family into the stand. How they could do with him in the squad today, but it's McGrath's corner from the left hand side towards the back post. It's headed away by Brown, who conceded the corner. It was an important header from him to take it away out to the left hand side and hammered forward by Carey, who's back in the lineup. Beich will just allow that to go through to Birighitti, who's 25 yards from his own goal, hoists it up towards the halfway line, nodded down by Phillips for May on the halfway line and out to the left hand side from Montgomery. Carey now, who's playing out to the left, plays it forward for Hallberg, who looks like he's been given a fairly advanced stroll this afternoon. As Alan says, it is a 4 at the back rather than the 3 that St Johnstone warmed up with, but they've managed to force a corner of their own over on the far side. St Johnstone left, and a chance for the home side to put a bit of pressure on the United back line.
Yeah, good break down the left hand side for St Johnstone. I like Montgomery. I think it'll be an interesting relationship with him, with Carey out there with his wicked left foot as well. I think you see him coming inside and Montgomery being asked to overlap, and that's what's caused the first opportunity for St Johnstone for this corner kick.
To be taken by Carey, experienced Irish forward player. Flights it to the back post, an easy take for Birighitti, not a great delivery. No St Johnstone player able to attack that one, and Birighitti, who's just looked that little bit assured, more assured in the last few games. He obviously had that huge error against St Johnstone last time when he allowed Stevie May to effectively slide tackle the winning goal into his net, and he lost his place after that, but he's won it back under Jim Goodwin, and he does look to have renewed confidence, Alan. That's so important.
Yeah, he has to, you know, and I think it's the results in front of him, the defenders in front of him, defending properly have certainly helped.
Here's Beich looking to take on Brown, left hand side of the penalty area as United attack, plays it off Brown, and it's a throw in as a goal at Easter Road between Hibs and St Mirren. Let's quickly hear about that from Brian McLaughlin.
It's Hibernian 1, St Mirren 0. What a mistake by the Paisley buddies. A throw in, they had to throw in themselves in the halfway line. It was played into Marcus Fraser, he made the mistake. LAU and Nipton stole it and raced 25 yards through and goal, and then clipped the ball beyond Trevor Carsten and St Mirren goal. Hibernian 1, St Mirren 0.
United trying to make something of this inside the penalty. Niskanen and McGrath in there have to come out of the penalty, and Harks has lost it to May, and May tries to begin a counter attack. He's got Montgomery outside of him in support. That's where the ball goes, crossing the halfway line now, the on loan fullback from Celtic. Now Carey on for looking for Wright, but in the way was McMahon playing at left back for United, and steps in and finds Beich, and now it's McGrath staying composed under pressure from Wright. There's a good counter from St Johnstone, good initial pass as Neil McCann said, but the final pass ultimately wasn't on the money.
Yeah, I think he's got to overhit the pass to try and find Dre Wright. I think Dre Wright can be a big player for St Johnstone. Beich goes forward and it leaves McMahon one-on-one with Dre Wright, and that'll be an interesting battle. They've got to get the ball out to him.
6 minutes in, no goals at McDermott Park between St Johnstone and Dundee United. Hibs 1 up early on at Easter Road against St Mirren, their rivals, you would have to say, for 5th spot at the moment, although Hibs might have ambitions of overtaking their city rivals. I'm sure Alan Preston will have a different view on that, but for the moment it's St Johnstone and Dundee United we're concentrating on here, as St Johnstone win the ball in midfield, and it's Carey out to the left hand side. The opening goal in this game could be also important, particularly if St Johnstone can grab it and just win themselves a bit of confidence, which seems to have been lacking in recent weeks, as the results would suggest. Both managers in the edges of their technical areas, both still in interim charge, and perhaps looking to win themselves longer deals if they can secure survival in the Premiership. St Johnstone have it. It's out of play though. Carey wasn't able to keep it in. He and Hallberg combining over on the left hand side, but the assistant on that far side raising his flag. United will have the throw in It's an interesting role that Hallberg's playing. He's just coming back inside now, but he's finding himself out on the left alongside Carey almost at times early in this game.
Yeah, he's drifting out there, and Carey's coming deeper and allowing Montgomery to go. Hallberg of late is bombed into the box, and I remember him at Hibs, he was more of a kind of midfield area man. I never ever saw him as a goal threat, but he's getting himself in there.
Ball's played forward by United, but it'll carry through to Remy Matthews, who was in the Aki's team that beat United in the playoff final back in 2016-2017. He was on loan at the time from Norwich, I think it was, back then, and Aki's beating United on that occasion. And St Johnstone looking to do the same this afternoon and alleviate their concerns down at the bottom of the table. St Johnstone, who have begun to play themselves into the game. Stevie May, left hand side of the box, good foot in there from Aina, who's really growing into a United shirt. Breaks for Carey though, good ball in, it's off the head in there of McMahon, who just heads it behind, and St Johnstone will have a corner right hand side. 8 minutes in, 0-0.
That's been a good response from St Johnstone. United came out, the traps flying, put them under real pressure, a couple of corners, keeping them in their own 18-yard box, but it's been a good reply from St Johnstone, and mainly coming down that left hand side. Montgomery getting forward, Carey whipping balls in. They just need to try and get more men in and around the boxes. They're going to try and flood the keeper here. Yeah,
there's so many around about. Birighitti perhaps trying to play on some of the mistakes that he's made in his time, but it's Stephen Fletcher getting his head to the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box from Carey's corner. McPherson gets it back out to Carey though, right hand side, plays it short for Phillips, 25 yards from goal, stands up to the back post. It's over a couple of St Johnstone players, and Niskanen able to clear out for a throw-in over on the far side. And there's been a goal at Fir Park. Let's hear about that from Stephen Craigan.
Yes, Alan, it's goal to the home side, Motherwell. Terrific play in midfield by Sean Goss, who wins the ball, throws it into that left-hand channel. James Furlong gets beyond Daniel Armstrong. Kevin Van Veen's in the middle. That was probably the fans' choice of cross, but he pulls it back to Blair Spittle on the edge of the box. Lovely first touch with his right foot, sent to the 18-yard box, uses his left foot, puts it past Sam Walker. We started late here at Fir Park, but it's Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Well, that is a scoreline that will go down well probably with both sets of supporters here at McDermott, to know that Kilmarnock, who are currently in 11th, are behind. And of course they got that first away win of the season a couple of weeks back, huge win for them, but behind to Motherwell early on, and Hibs leading St Mirren by 1-0 as well. 0-0 here, almost 10 minutes on the clock, but St Johnstone definitely just beginning to get the upper hand in these early stages after United had started really brightly. Here comes St Johnstone once more, back post header from Brown. Mulgrew gets his head to inside the 6-yard box and then headed on by Carey, but it's by Trey Wright, but it's grabbed by Birighitti. Stephen McClaren will be pretty pleased, Alan Preston, by the way, or Neil, indeed you can take the mic if you like.
Sort of ventriloquist there, wasn't it? No, I think Stevie will be really pleased with his formation choice. I think they're causing Dundee United problems in terms of their spread with the three midfielders, three up front, and Brown there. It was a beautiful ball from Carey, just clipped to the back post, and had Stevie May gambled and got across Charlie Mulgrew instead of both players going towards the back post, I think it was him and Hallberg, they might have had a better opportunity to score. But so far so good. The game's settled a little bit. United started really well, but hold their possession now.
Here they come. Parks on the edge of the box, looking to find room for the shot, blocked by Considine, and a little slip there by Montgomery, but does get the clearance. Sybil tries to keep it alive but can't find Niskanen, and it's Carey picking up. It's effectively a 4-3-3 that St Johnstone are playing as Montgomery tries to move away from Marks. He's penalised, and it will be I thought Alan Muir had given a free kick there, but the play continues and United have possession at the back. It's Aina, plays it short for Sibbald in the halfway line, looking to come forwards. McPherson goes to close him down. Out comes to McMahon, just about 10 yards inside the St Johnstone half, slides it forward looking for McGrath. Come for Fletcher, first time shot, Matthews bats it away, and the clearance is completed by Considine, but that was a test for Matthews. Stands up to the shot from Fletcher.
Yeah, it was a good time, really good, first time effort. The ball gets a break of the ball onto his lovely left foot. No hesitation other than hit the shot on target. Matthews, comfortable save for him. Then it's booted out for a throw, and Mulgrew will chuck this in long to the front post, try and find Fletcher to flick it on.
Yeah, Mulgrew lining up the long one about 20 yards from the corner flag, left hand side into the near post. It goes. Fletcher won't get onto the first time, but he does. Second time, Betch at the edge of the 6-yard box. Can he turn away from the crowd? He can't. And play stopped. I think there is a head knock in there. Dre Wright. He's just down, holding the back of his head and kicking the ground in pain. And Alan Muir waves on the St Johnstone.
I think it was Gordon actually headed the back of him, Al. The two of them are going up for it. Gordon seems to head at the back of Dre Wright's head.
Both desperate to avoid Stephen Fletcher getting on to the first contact.
Exactly.
And Dre Wright will require a bit of treatment here. 12.5 minutes on the clock. No goals, but a good start to the game. Both sides again showing that attacking intent to try and get the initial breakthrough that could be so important. Goals elsewhere in the Premiership have come at Fir Park, with Blair Spittle on the score sheet against Kilmarnock, and Hibernian leading. Ellie Ewan's goal, I think it was what Brian said, that's against St Mirren. Goalless between Ross County and Livingston, goalless also in that game between Brecon and the Spartans. We'll update you on that. The winners of that, looks likely that they'll take on Albion Rovers for a place in League 2 next season. Brecon looking to restore themselves to the upper echelons of the SPFL from the Highland League, as Dre Wright groggily picks himself up to his feet, and Alan Muir just waves him off the park, and he'll make his way round. Hopefully he'll be okay to continue. And there is indeed a goal at Glebe Park, so let's hear from Gavin Wallace. Who's it for?
Is indeed Alistair, and it's for Spartans now. It was an own goal actually from Kevin McHattie. The ball whipped in. It was a great move beforehand. Spartans should have went 1-0 up just before, but they got the corner. Ball whipped in, and Kevin McHattie got himself in all sorts of trouble inside the box that came off his thigh, and it's 1-0 now to Spartans' own goal.
And 2-0 in aggregate, so that's a big early goal for the Lowland League champions against Brecon City, champions of the Highland League, as they look to move up to League 2 for the very first time. And really important breakthrough there for the Edinburgh side. It's St Johnstone coming forward now with the play resumed here. Into the box it goes. Cammy McPherson can't get onto it. It'll come to James Brown, who scuffs his shot wide. Neil, I think you and I were both here when he hammered that goal in against Rangers. That was their last victory here, can you believe, in November?
That seems a long time ago. And excuse me, a lot of quality ago if you match that effort with the one that he scored here against Rangers. But the good thing for Stephen McLean is that the fullbacks, he's getting into an advanced position, edge of the box there. That's 3 or 4 times now Graham Kerry's found space where I don't think he should be getting time to get across in, and he's used his brain by thinking, right, there's an obstacle there, just clipping it to the back post.
Yeah, he's very good.
Here's Dre Wright trying to get away from McMahon. McMahon's done well, and I thought actually the assistant didn't give that as a free kick. I personally thought it was, but the referee it was who intervened. He was in a less favourable position than the assistant, and Dre Wright making a point to the assistant that it shouldn't have been a free kick.
Honestly, I'd like to see that one again. I think McMahon just cuts across him and maybe clipped his own heels, I don't know.
It's one that when the defender gets between the ball and the attacker and he goes down, it's almost always given, Alan, isn't it? And I assumed it was going to be, but it looked like the assistant, who was only a couple of yards from it, was going to allow play to continue, and then Dre Wright would have been in a really good position. But as it is, Dundee United have the free kick. McMahon doing well to match the speed there, you'd have to say, of Dre Wright as the free kick's taken. Fletcher wins the flick on. Just wondering, Alan, going back to the St Johnstone shape, do you think that slightly surprised Jim Goodwin, the way that the game started?
Possibly, because St Johnstone, as we've known for years, have been a back three, but with Stephen Fletcher being the lone striker, they would have been getting outnumbered elsewhere in the park if they played their 3 back there. So it makes sense to go to a 4, just make sure that they've got, because McGrath will be the one, as he is here, try to get onto the back of the flick.
Lovely touch for Niskanen. Niskanen couldn't quite take it in his stride, but what a sublime little flick into the path of Niskanen it was from McGrath. Such a talented player, and it'll be interesting to see where he is playing his football next season. Still got a year on his contract at Wigan, but I know Jim Goodwin was talking about being keen to have him in whichever team he ends up managing next season, whether it be Dundee United or potentially elsewhere. Betch just took a knock there, but McMahon takes over for Dundee United down the left hand side to the goal line, cuts it back. It's a good cut back, but Hallberg first to it. His clearance though falls for McGrath inside the penalty area. Good feet from him, away from Phillips, left hand side, tries to play it into the area. Gordon's in the way, comes back to McMahon, flights it in. So a header comes in from Ian Harkes, a decent effort, but he was going back the way, he couldn't get enough power or direction, and a comfortable take there for Remy Matthews. And with 17 minutes on the clock, it's St Johnstone 0, Dundee United 0.
Yeah, comfortable for the goalkeeper, but again, Harkes, another midfielder I think I've been really impressed with of late. He's making the box there. Good ball into the box. I think McGrath is a talent. You're touching on him there with Wigan. Promised so much. Aberdeen, he's a guy that can link the front to back, very composed player, and he looks as if he's found that bit of spark about his game. What a pass that is.
Yes, Montgomery looking for Carey. Actually,
the opposite way around might have worked better. Al Graham Carey into the quicker Montgomery. I don't think Carey was ever going to get it, but it was a really nice pass.
It's certainly a nice idea. Just eventually just rolling away from Carey and out for a goal kick. McDermott with 18 minutes on the clock. The atmosphere a little tense, but certainly it's a good crowd inside McDermott Park for this one, a game that means so much to both sides, as Birighitti takes the goal kick up looking for Fletcher. He's well matched in the air that time by Gordon though, and then played back forward by United, but all the way through for Remy Matthews.
I think you're touching on the crowd. It's a brilliant Dundee United crowd, but this is a bigger than normal St Johnstone crowd as well.
Yeah, it certainly is, and here they are attacking. O'Carey, was he dragged to the ground there by Aina? It looked to be, yeah. And Alan Muir had a look at it, but allows play to continue. Carey still down, St Johnstone back in possession. McPherson plays it square to Brown and then gets it back. The midfielder looks to play in Dre Wright picks up and finds Phillips. Phillips just feeds it forward, a rather hopeful one looking for McPherson. Carey's still down.
That looked pretty straightforward. I thought Aina had a pull and then almost a rake down the back of Graham Carey's calf, but
I think he's toiling with his calf. I really do. He might not be able to continue the way he's going. Hopefully he's alright, but it looked a dull one.
Yeah.
Eventually making his way back into the game. Graham Carey, St Johnstone pick up as Hallberg finds Montgomery. Montgomery goes down under the challenge of Niskanen. That one's given just inside the St Johnstone half. Almost 20 minutes played, still goalless as Jamie Murphy just trots out. Short warm-up just in case Carey can't continue. It looks to be okay, but he's certainly making his point there to Alan Muir, the referee, that he felt he should have had a free kick a few moments ago. But St Johnstone do have...
Better not criticise the referee too much.
St Johnstone do have the free kick on the halfway line to be taken by Cammy McPherson, with everyone in Tangerine back just at the edge of the penalty to defend this one. Don't want to be falling behind as Gordon tries to rise and flick it on, but it's a Dundee United head. I think it was Mulgrew eventually who got to it. James Brown just loops over his own head down the right hand side, but McMahon gets it back up to the halfway line. Betch can't reach it and Brown picks up, and now it's Harkes. Harkes has a lovely looking ball for Niskanen, who's rapid up against McPherson, right hand side of the box, cuts back inside, takes a touch on the way through and is behind for a corner. Niskanen, who got his first goal of the season against Motherwell a couple of weeks ago, and got onto the pass there but just couldn't get the shot on target. It might have been going on target, but for the late intervention it will be a United corner.
Yeah, Liam Gordon shouldn't be losing the first header from Craig Sibbald, should he? And then the ball over the top. Niskanen is quick, but he's also powerful when he drags it back. Andy Considine made sure he got himself back in there with a crucial block.
Corner then from the right hand side, it is Sibbald to deliver, and it's an easy take for Remy Matthews inside his 6-yard box. It's a couple of corners from either side that haven't quite managed to pick out the teammates. Comfortable takes for the keepers. 21 on the clock. No goals at McDermott. 1-0 Motherwell, 1-0 Hibs, and 1-0 Spartans against Brecon. And we'll have updates from the goals in League 1 and League 2 at half time, with Kenny and Leanne bringing you right up to date with what's going on in the games where things are still to be decided in those leagues. Playoffs to come, of course. Here's Sybil, gets his head to the ball, nods it down to McGrath, who's on the left-hand side. Can't squeeze the pass down the left, looking for BH. Brown was in the way, and he finds Phillips. Phillips tries a diagonal. It's a tricky-looking ball. It doesn't come off, but it does fall eventually for Montgomery. And then Carey gets it back to Considine. Carey once more, just inside his own half, plays it down the left flank. Hallberg again has wandered out to that left-hand side, picking up a pocket of space, plays it back in field to Phillips, who plays the triangle with Carey, and down the line it goes this time to May, who's out on the left flank. Phillips once more, about 10 yards inside United territory, gets it back once more from Considine. Phillips it is in field into the centre circle for McPherson. He spins and plays out to the right-hand side to Wright. Wright looking to get away from BH, midway inside the United half, allowed to travel, but he can't get the pass off as he intended. It is picked up again by Montgomery. Now Carey, who we know can deliver, low ball in. May chase it back for Wright, couldn't bring it under control, breaks away of McPherson, 20 yards from goal. Challenged by Sybil, free kick to St Johnstone, foul by Sybil about 22 yards from goal, just left the centre, and a decent position for a St Johnstone free kick.
Very clever. McPherson leaves his foot in there, and Sybil just takes it away, and it's a free kick in a really interesting position. Carey, you would think, would be favourite for this. I've seen Hallberg score as well. McPherson can smash it. For me, this is set up for Hallberg, but Carey might fancy it on the outside of the wall.
Yeah, just really smart play from McPherson, because he knows he's going away from goal. He just invites the challenge and rolls, and this is what 22 yards out. I mean, yeah, I think any three of them, Alan, you've already spoken about, McPherson, Hallberg and Carey, could hit this.
Just a few yards left of centre. Normally you would fancy a right-footed player to take it from this position, but Carey is so good from a dead ball situation that you certainly wouldn't discount him. He does look to be favourite actually, yep. But Hallberg's moving away, McPherson's still lurking, but the way Carey's lining it up, he does look like he's going to be the one who will strike it. Up he steps, and he does strike it, and he's not too far away from Birigitti's left-hand post, but it is wide of goal, and we've got a goal at Eastern Road. Brian McLaughlin.
It's a second for the home side. A corner swung in from the right-hand side. Will Fish at the back post. Trevor Carson tried to get there, but he just couldn't claw the ball back out, and the header from Fish makes it Hibernian 2, St Mirren 0.
Thanks, Brian. That wasn't far away from the opening goal here, Neil McCann, but just wide of goal. Yeah,
I was looking at the wall. Two big guys were there, Aina and Mulgrew were central, and Carey started it there and just whipped it back across, reversed it. Birighitti, to be honest, he didn't try and move, he didn't try and cheat and get across to the other side behind the wall. He stood his ground, and I think he was quite comfortable in the end, but it did look close.
He got a lot of whip on it, didn't he? But just wide of goal in the end, as United
for Carey here. Carey's just having a go at the referee. He felt again it was another foul.
It's a throw into United instead, which goes back the way. Here's Aina under pressure, but it's good composed play from the young man, who seems to be learning a lot from playing alongside Charlie Mulgrew, who's spoken about enjoying playing beside him. Here's McCann for Fletcher, tries to chest it down. Looks like he might have used an arm in there, but it's cleared away in any case. Stevie May goes down, but no free kick. Harks picks up possession and plays it to Aina, and here's Sybil looking to come deep and start a United move inside the centre circle. Plays it back to Aina on the halfway line, right-footed, knocks it down the channel. Niskanen had checked out of the run, and I think it was going to be overcooked in any case, and it's behind for a goal kick. We've played 25.5 minutes at McDermott, still no goals, but a decent encounter so far.
It's been enjoyable. It has been. Both sides have had little spells to themselves. St Johnstone getting a lot of joy down that left-hand side, and Dundee United, when they play the ball up to Fletcher and get people round about them, get themselves up the park, and they get the more crosses they can get into Fletcher, the better United will be.
I think they're talking about left side for St Johnstone. It's the same for United. I think Wright's squeezing in really narrow, and McMahon's running off.
Here's Niskanen, mistake from Gordon. Still Niskanen's forced to the right hand side. Good defending by Montgomery, who just nicks it off him in the end. Gordon recovered well, but Montgomery was the one who got back to Niskanen and prevented him getting the early shot away after the Gordon mistake. And St Johnstone survive and come forward themselves now. They've given possession up on that left-hand side, and it's Niskanen once more battling away there with Phillips, and it's eventually going to be a St Johnstone throw in over on the far side, their left, about 10 yards inside United half. Again, a glimpse of goal there for Ilmari Niskanen.
There was a chance for him there, but St Johnstone got numbers back. Montgomery's back as well, but really good play by United on the attack. Niskanen's got blistering pace, but all credit to Montgomery, managed to get back.
Here is Montgomery turning and then just playing it to the left hand side for Carey, who goes back to the halfway line for the veteran Considine. And now Gordon for McPherson, just about 10 yards inside the United half, clips it forward, it's over. Mulgrew, it's May, takes it down in the chest, gets a shot in, but it's blocked by Mulgrew, who recovered from having seen the ball just go over his head, and May unable to capitalise to any great extent. Good recovery from another veteran in Charlie Mulgrew.
Yeah, what a ball from Cammy McPherson though. It's perfectly clipped over the top of Charlie Mulgrew. He's on the back wheel, doesn't get enough power in it to get up and meet the head, and when Stevie May takes it down now, he just wanted another extra touch. Had he just been able to swivel on that first time, he would have seen a sight of goal.
Here's Dre Wright, left footed, gets it into the back post, too much on it though, and it'll be behind for a United goal kick. No goals, almost 28 minutes on the clock.
I think that's what's been a disappointment. The set plays, the corners coming in, when there has been a chance to cross the ball, it's been overhit or blocked at the front post. You need a bit more quality from both sides, because they get guys in there like May, like Fletcher, that can score goals, but they need the right service coming in.
St Johnstone haven't beaten United here since September 2015. 3 draws, 3 defeats since then, but oddly enough they've won their last 3 at Tannadice. A curious fixture. Here's Stevie May trying to change that, knocks it back to Phillips about 30 yards from goal. He didn't realise McGrath was coming back at him as he tried to lay it off to McPherson, and United have possession back, but Sibbald with a careless pass, and McMahon just able to get it clear before Dre Wright dips in. But here's Harks finding Bates into the penalty, plays it for Fletcher, who wasn't able to tap it in. I think he would have been marginally offside in any occasion. The flag does go up in the end, but it's a swift United counter-attack, and Fletcher just unable to turn it into the net.
Yeah, Bates, you could see he's wanting to play it first time. He probably just healed that cross where it was going too close to Stephen Fletcher, who had drifted offside, but a brilliant ball from Harks really early. Plays it into the run. I think it was Harks, McGrath? But the pass was perfect. But yeah, just an element. This left side for me is starting to be a bit of a problem for St Johnstone, because Dre Wright is playing really narrow. The problem that St Johnstone have got with Stephen McLean is that Stephen May's not an out-and-out number 9 like Fletcher is. He wants to come off the game and link it and stuff, and when he does that, they've got no one in the box. That's forcing Wright inside, and when they break the play down Dundee United, he's so narrow that McMahon's bouncing, Harks and Bates has got this full left side.
Bates is playing almost up alongside Stephen Fletcher out to the left hand side. The Australian signed as a left back, but playing up the park this afternoon ahead of Scott McMahon, and he's just won his side a throw in just down below us on the United left. Half an hour on the clock, no goals, but certainly an interesting game so far. Good match up, neither side of course wanting to lose the first goal, but certainly not holding back and going for goals themselves, as Mulgrew turns it back to his goalkeeper Mark Birighitti on the edge of his box, plays it up just over the halfway line, flicked on by Harks. In goes McGrath to try and win it, battling away there, and he's fouled by Considine. It'll be a free kick to United just inside the St Johnstone half, inside the centre circle, and United will have the chance to try and create something here. Just have a glance across here at Jim Goodwin, who gives the nod for Mulgrew and Aina to head up and try and get onto the end of this. It's very central, difficult to get an angle on it, but Mulgrew and Aina go and take a position over at the corner on the right hand side of the penalty area to try and get the ball back across goal, you'd imagine, as McGrath prepares to take the set piece. Here it comes, looking for Mulgrew, who's round the back, does get it knocked down to McMahon, right hand side of the box. McPherson though robs them of possession as they try to find Niskanen, and it comes off Niskanen, and it's out for a throw and over on the far side. 0-0, just over half an hour gone.
Again, just lacking a little bit of quality there, no imagination. It's a free kick, it's got to try and go into the wider area. If you're clipping balls in from there, it's difficult for Mulgrew or Aina to get the ball back across into the danger area, really. So you just need more quality both sides. I think because we're here and involved in the game, it doesn't seem so bad, but if I was sitting watching this on the TV, I would think it's poor.
Just one defeat in 6 for Dundee United coming into this one, and that was at Ibrox. A couple of draws in there. Overall, since Jim Goodwin took charge, it's been 3 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats, as he certainly resurrected their hopes of survival, going from rock bottom up now to 10th.
I would never have, I was at the game at Easter Road with Willie Miller when they lost 6-0 at Aberdeen. I would never have thought that Jim would have been in so quickly. I thought he would get back in, but not as quickly, and not at such a good club at Dundee United straight away. But he's done a wonderful job.
Just a month between getting the boot from Pittodrie and taking over at Tannadice. I'm sure he probably didn't expect himself to be offered the opportunity quite so quickly, but he showed again his managerial capabilities since taking over at Tannadice, and no doubt United, if he can continue this, will be looking to keep his services. We'll see what happens with that one as St Johnstone come forward, though, looking for a goal here. As Brown picks up midway inside the United half, plays it infield to Phillips. That's a good ball, it's a good pick out for Hallberg, who thought he saw a pass out to Carey, but Niskanen was back in a good position and able to work the ball clear, but only as far as Montgomery, midway inside the United half. He's got a lot of room to move into here, up towards the edge of the box. Still it's Montgomery, gets it into the near post. Birighitti gets something on it, and then Mulgrew turns it behind. Montgomery was allowed to advance so far there, and he put a dangerous ball in.
Lovely little step over as well, just to create half the yard, just to create that angle to get a shot away. It took a nick off Hyena, I'm sure, and Birighitti did really well just to get something on it.
Corner kick then to St Johnstone over far side, to be taken by Cammy McPherson. St Johnstone left. Birighitti on his goal line. Hallberg trying to get close to him to put pressure on him as McPherson swirls it in. It's Gordon who rose highest, 6 yards out, but there was a push in there. Alan Muir spotted, and it will be a free kick to Dundee United, and so the stalemate continues. 33.5 on the clock.
There's two sides that are, they're very, I think they look a bit nervous, to be honest. The final piece of the jigsaw to try and give that bit of quality coming in is sadly lacking, I'm afraid. Behich has got good quality on the left, Niskanen on the right, Carey for St Johnstone, Dre right on the right. They need to get the ball out to these guys, but St Johnstone, when they do, there's sometimes only one, sometimes none in the box, and this is why Montgomery has a shot when he's that chance about a minute ago, because he's looking up and there's no one ahead of him. They need to get people in the box.
So United throw in on the near side, midway inside their own half. Scott McMahon preparing to take it, and looking for options down the line. Stephen Fletcher, the obvious target. That's where the ball heads. It's James Brown, though, who does get up highest, knock it back down the line. McMahon returns it once more. Behich will attack it. It's Gordon who wins that aerial battle, but he was pushed, reckons Alan Muir, by Behich, who's not entirely in agreement with the referee. There will be a free kick to St Johnstone midway inside their own half, and still no sign of the opening goal. We've had goals at Fir Park, 1-0 Motherwell lead Kilmarnock, goalless between bottom side Ross County and 7th place Livy, who find themselves almost in no man's land for the final 5 games of the season. Hibernian, though, with a 2-goal lead against St Mirren, and looking to narrow the gap on Hearts, who welcome Celtic tomorrow to Tynecastle, looking to avoid a title party there, the home side, as Celtic look to clinch the league. There's Gordon, right hand side, clips it forward. Stevie May can't reach it. It's knocked away by Mulgrew, out of play on this near side. St Johnstone right, up comes James Brown, the fullback, to take this one. Down the line it goes. Carey right at the goal line, picks up possession, finds Dre right in a good position, but back goes Jamie McGrath to knock it behind for a corner kick. So Johnstone had an opening there to right, couldn't find a teammate, and it will be a St Johnstone corner.
Yeah, smart play from Graham Carey, just running off the throw-in, what would be an offside position, but of course it can't be from the throw-in, and then just lifts it into the path, but McGrath just worked himself back into that defensive position so well.
It's on at the edge of the box.
It has been all day, Alan, actually, from that, if they're smart enough.
Carey to take, right hand side, left footed, right on top of the goalkeeper, who punches well out of his penalty area with that. It's a good goalkeeper from Birighitti, after a really vicious in-swinger from Carey. There's right on the left-hand side this time, trying to swing the ball in, but it's blocked. Phillips will try to switch play, which he does really well. Now it's Carey in the angle of the box, right-hand side onto the right foot. Goes for goal! Birighitti, terrific save from the Australian. He got the glove up to knock it over the crossbar. Not sure he was expecting the shot from Carey, but it did come in on the right foot, and over the top it goes. Still 0-0.
That's a wonderful pass with Phillips out to Carey. You think he's going to cut back on his left, he goes down on his right, drags it out on his right foot. Good hit, good save, fingertips just over the bar.
Birighitti showing his worth there. He's been questioned since his arrival, but as I mentioned earlier, beginning to show the type of form that obviously attracted Dundee United to him in the first instance. And he'll have another corner here to defend from the left-hand side. This time it's McPherson right in on top of him once more against a good punch. Doesn't get so much distance this time, but Niskanen's there to help it clear. And again, there's a pull being spotted by Alan Muir. There's good sign language from him to allow the supporters and us in the commentary position to know what the free kick's been given for. Didn't see anything myself.
No, I was trying to sneak a wee look at the monitor here. It's almost totally side on, and I couldn't see anything. Whether there's a free kick from Hallberg on the goalkeeper, I'm not sure if that's Alan Muir has said it was, but you feel that St Johnstone are dominating proceedings after United's really quick, bright start. They've had one or two opportunities on the break, but I think St Johnstone are the team that look more likely, and in particular I think Graham Carey, his balls from the left hand side have been good. He's had that shot there from the right hand side, his dead ball play. I think he's the one player that's standing out for me for St Johnstone.
7 minutes until the interval, no goals yet at McDermott Park between St Johnstone and Dundee United. Hard fought game so far as Montgomery claims for the throw-in and will get it. St Johnstone on the left hand side. I tend to agree with Neil's assessment there that they have been on top marginally, but just maybe that shot from Graham Carey was really the first big test of Birighitti in the United goal. As forward comes Saints once more, and it's May out on the left hand side. Ayina comes across the track. It was a good pass for Hallberg, almost on the goal line, gets it into the penalty area. It's Overdre right who'd come near post, comes to Brown, the right hand side of the box. He clips it back into the back post. That's another good take from Birighitti, looking more and more confident as this game goes on. Still 0-0.
Yeah, but it's just not enough pace on the ball for Brown. You know, he's getting the byline, whip it across, he hangs it up. It's a floaty ball at the back, and it gives the keeper plenty time to get across from his near post to his back post and collect it comfortably. But you're right, really good take by the keeper under a little bit of pressure.
Long it goes, looking for Fletcher, who's not really been able to influence the game as he so often does, but United have picked up a free kick just inside the St Johnstone halves. A goal at Dingwall, this could be big. Let's hear about it from Martin Dowden.
It's very big, Al. It's Ross County 1, Livingston 0. Against the run of play mostly, I would say, but the ball came in from the right, and in came Alex Jakaviti, a lovely header right into the corner. It's Ross County 1, Livingston 0.
Thanks, Martin. Ross County 4 points adrift at the bottom, but in front against Livingston, who don't really have anything to play for, and that could be crucial if Ross County can go on and hold on to that lead. They really need a win from somewhere. As Jamie McGrath prepares to take the free kick, he's taking it short to Freeman, gets it back midway inside the St Johnstone half now, out to the left hand side for Betch. Seems like they've kind of wasted this free kick, and down goes Betch. Was he caught late there by Carey? Alan Muir's spotted something. Certainly he's given the free kick to Dundee United, and Carey complaining for the free kick awarded left hand side, and Betch looks like he's taking a sore one. Did you see that one, Neil?
Honestly, I thought it was minimal contact. They sort of run past him, and I think he maybe brushed his calf, Betch, but I thought it was really theatrical, but maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't look an awful lot at all.
Alan's trying to sneak a view from
there might have been, you know what, there might have been just a little toe in the back of the heel, Achilles area, but
little bit. He does catch her, but it's unintentional. It's not, but it is a free kick in the end, but unintentional. It just catches him as he's coming through.
They kind of wasted the free kick, it felt, but they've got a better position now for this one. It's left hand side, a few yards in from the touchline on the left. Jamie McGrath about 30 yards maybe from the goal line, and Dundee United trying to force the issue here. It is McGrath, right-footed. Mulgrew rose at the back post, but I think there's Considine back there to match him and gets a good clearing header, well defended by St Johnstone. 4 minutes to the break, it's out for a throw-in on the far side, 2 Saints, and it's still 0-0.
That was a decent ball in, well defended by St Johnstone. It was from a wide area, a real bit of pace on it from McGrath. Good header at the back post, and it's cleared away. It's such, that result at Dingwall at the moment, you know, that goal coming in just changes the complex of everything for both sides here. It really does. Ross County, if they can hold on, back in the battle.
Absolutely. Here's Phillips, left-hand side for Saints. 3 minutes left in the first 45. I don't think we'll have too much in the way of added on time at this stage. Couple of brief stoppages for Knox. Nothing of any great significance as Phillips heads it over the halfway line. It's Drayright coming into a central area, plays it to the left-hand side for Montgomery. Sit forward for Hallberg. Hallberg takes it on the chest. Across comes Aina. Good strength from the centre-back, just knocks it out of play for a St Johnstone throw-in over there, about 25 yards from the corner flag. St Johnstone left.
He's made some good runs, Hallberg, into that little channel in behind the fullback. What he's doing, he's dragging Aina out, and if St Johnstone can get one of the central midfielders to break into that gap, then if Stevie May holds his position rather than him going out, I would like to see Stevie May staying central and that position being filled when Aina breaks.
Considine's long throw from the left hand side. Gordon flicks it on. Mulgrew can't get it clear. May misses his kick. Shot comes in. It's in! And it's Liam Gordon, and that could be massive for St Johnstone. The skipper up from the back, and in the second time of asking, he lashes it past Birigiti, who stood still, didn't move, as it rolled away to his right. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
A really good finish, you know, from Gordon. It just comes to him. I think it's maybe on the half volley. It's not a sweet strike, but it's true and it's low, and Birigiti's just standing there. I think it's a bit of misunderstanding, a miscommunication. It's certainly no responsibility taken by Dundee United at the back. They let it bounce, and is it off of Stevie May's chest? Yeah, maybe?
I think it's, as it comes in, it flips up, and
off of Hallberg.
Stevie May actually has a fresh air at it, and it clips off on the outside of his left foot, straight into the path of the skipper, and he smashes it behind the keeper, giving the goalie absolutely no chance. What a time to score for St Johnstone. Massive goal.
Just before half-time, the goal is awarded. There was a brief VAR check, as there always is. It's Liam Gordon's first goal of the season. It's his first goal since October 2021, and what a priceless one it could be for his side as they look to lift themselves away from the bottom of the table.
That's a big goal. And no matter where you try to keep your players away from what's going on elsewhere, Al, if you're going at half-time and people start asking what the score is and something filters it out that Ross County are winning, it just brings a little bit more tension. I was reading Big Gordon's comments before, saying that, you know, they've got to embrace the situation and they won't get involved in nerves and been in the position last season, but he's just stepped up with a really important goal.
Just Liam Gordon's third goal of his career. Been St Johnstone for a long time now, having been a youth player at Hearts. There's been a goal at Glebe Park between Brechin and the Spartans. 1-0 last, we heard, to the Lowland League champions. What news, Gavin Wallace?
Well, Brechin have managed now to pull one back. Fraser McLeod, he just missed one a couple of minutes ago, but just before half-time, the ball fell out to Fraser McLeod on the left-hand side, inside the box. He took it down, and with the inside of his right foot, put it well beyond the goalkeeper in goal for Spartans Blair Carswell. It was a fantastic goal, one each on the day, 2-1 in aggregate, and it's now just went half-time.
Thanks, Gavin. We'll get a further report from Gavin at the half-time interval here, which is a couple of minutes away. We're into stoppage time as Dundee United look to respond before the break, but Brown picks up for St Johnstone, and you can hear the home crowd in good voice now, having watched their captain put them in front, and that could be absolutely huge for them as he plays it forward once more for Stevie May. May loses out to Niskanen in the middle of the park. United have given it away though. Phillips breaking forward, he's got very little support and he's lost out to McGrath. Now it's back with Mulgrew, clears up to the halfway line. Betch brings it under control, and it's an offside flag.
It's Betch, he's just really lazy at coming back the park.
Yeah, that is poor from the Australian. just inside the St Johnstone half, but far enough for the offside to be given. Inside the final minute. On you go, Neil.
Yeah, I was just about to say they're all getting involved. Big Ryan McGowan's in front of me just now. I'm sure he's earwigging, but he put his hand up there for offside. They're all in it.
Free kick then to St Johnstone.
Side. It's taken it for the United half.
Well, as I learned recently, it's where the ball is. When he touches it, rather than which I didn't even know until this season. It was James McFadden that enlightened me.
So he goes all the way back into the box and touches it.
I think that would be unlikely, but yes, in principle, that is what would happen. Anyway, we're back underway. Dundee United racing forward, but first to it there was Montgomery. Has been good in this first half. The ball's cleared by Remy Matthews. St Johnstone with the advantage as half-time is almost upon us. Aina plays it square to Charlie Mulgrew, midway inside his own half. Jim Goodwin staring at his first defeat in 4 games. Unless he can do something about it at half-time, the whistle goes to bring an end to the opening 45, and it's St Johnstone who just before half-time took the lead. It was a first half of few chances, you'd have to say. Matthews saved early on from Stephen Fletcher when the shot, in all honesty, was straight at him, and Ian Harkes also had a header saved. Again, it was a comfortable one for Matthews. Carey had a free kick which he sent wide, and then had a really good effort turned over the top by Mark Berigiti, but the keeper was left motionless almost a couple of minutes before the interval as Liam Gordon, the ball came back to him inside the box and he rattled it with the right foot from about 12 yards in at Berigiti's right hand post. It's just his 3rd career goal to give St Johnstone a priceless half-time lead. It's St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
All the action.
What a moment! From all the biggest games.
This is Sports Sound.
Oh, it's a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Another goal!
Previously on the good, the bad, and the unexpected with Mark Nelson.
My good story is how a rubber chicken started my career. It's a bonkers headline, isn't it?
Today I'm joined by Michaela Strachan, Ross King and Richard Wiseman.
And I got an invite to perform at the Magic Castle. Died on my backside. It was an absolute disaster. No.
There's plenty of twists and turns as well-known names share their good and bad tales.
And I was standing in the wings. And I just went, oh, so Sean Connery, you walked on, you got a standing ovation. You walked off, you got a standing ovation. How does it feel? Ross, you'll never know.
The good, the bad and the unexpected.
Fridays from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland, or listen now on BBC Sounds.
So the home side in control in our commentary match this afternoon. What a result this would be for St Johnstone. The lead Dundee United by 1-0. Also the home side in control at Fir Park. Stephen Craig, and you've obviously got a delay there given the long break we had for that VAR check.
Kenny, we also had drama right at the very start because Kevin Clancy's equipment wasn't working and he had to change it on 2 different occasions, so we didn't kick off here until about 3:05. Then exactly, we had the goal from Blair Spittle, then we had the long VAR check. We all initially thought he was checking for an offside of Kevin Van Veen after Mikael Mandron had squared the ball to him, but it went right back to a tackle by Sean Goss in midfield. They were checking for a possible red card. That was ruled out. Then they had to go and check the offside. So you're right, we could possibly have as much as 4 or 5 minutes added on in this first half.
Right, we'll get back to Stephen. We'll also get Leanne's thoughts on what happened there with that long VAR check. Let's then get to Dingwall, Ross County against Livingston. There for us, Martin Dowden.
Yeah, half-time, Ross County 1, Livingston 0. Not a classic, Kenny, far from it, but given what's at stake, all that matters to Malky Mackay and his side is they're in front. They seemed off it for the most part in the first half. Livingston, the more aggressive going forward. Bruce Anderson came closest with a nice turn and shot that was narrowly wide with a few other chances well blocked. But gradually you sense the home side waking up as half-time approached. Simon Murray almost nodded home at the back post, but was denied brilliantly and bravely by Nicky Devlin, who seemed to collide with the upright right as he got the ball away, but the breakthrough arrived. A lovely ball whipped into the box, and Alex Iacoviti raced onto it unmarked, and he powered an excellent directed header into the corner. All of a sudden, a real energy around this stadium. A vital goal at a great time getting into the break. David Martindale, though, will be fuming on the balance of play. They really shouldn't be behind. Ross County 1, Livingston 0.
So far, so good then for Malky Mackay's side. Hibs got off to an absolute flyer at Easter Road against St Mirren. There for us, Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, Hibernian 2, St Mirren 0, and no less than the Easter Road side deserved. Totally dominant from the first whistle, been at it until the closing 45 minutes. We're up there. As for St Mirren, well, they've had really a very poor afternoon. It was 1-0 after just 4 minutes. What a horrendous mistake by the Saints defence. They had their own throw-in on the halfway line. They threw it into the centre circle. Marcus Fraser was there. However, Ellie Ewan stole the ball off the defender, raced through and goal, and clipped it beyond Trevor Carson. It was almost an equaliser role for St Mirren. Their only real attempt in goal. Mark O'Hara from around 12 yards out the volley, just inches over the crossbar. But the second goal for Hibernian came around 24 minutes in, a corner from the right hand side. Again, really poor defending, allowing the ball to bounce inside the 6-yard box and fall onto the head of Will Fish, who headed it towards goal. Trevor Carson tried in vain to claw it out, but the ball ended up in the bottom right hand corner of the goal. And almost a third goal, and again slack play by the St Mirren defence. Charles Dunn allowed Kevin Nisbet a chance. He cut the ball back into Carson. He missed it, a shot. It fell to Ellie Ewan at the back post. This time it was blocked by Carson and cleared. St Mirren have been woeful. Hibs have been very good, and that's why they lead by 2-0.
A very good scoreline for the home side there. Let's get back to Fir Park. Another stoppage for you, Stephen Craigan.
Indeed, Kenny. There was 5 minutes went up of added time in that first half, and then within the first minute, Callum Slattery went down with a knee knock. So I'd imagine there'll be 6 or 7 minutes we'll get to in the stage of the game. I mean, I can run through the game if you want. The first goal came after 4 minutes. Blair Spittle, Daniel Armstrong, who's playing as a right wing back, is up against James Furlong, who's a left wing back from Motherwell, and Daniel Armstrong got caught going forward, and a simple ball into the channel meant James Furlong got beyond him. His choice of cross was either dink it to the back post for Kevin Van Veen or pull it back to the edge of the box. Right in the centre was Blair Spittle. He chose Blair Spittle, who had a lovely first touch to take the ball past Joe Wright and then just guide it past Sam Walker and goal with his left foot. The perfect start for Motherwell. Since then, it's been quite a competitive game. It's been a bit stop-start. Lots of long balls, aerial battles, free kicks, challenges, as you'd imagine. And two teams trying to get away from the relegation battle. Kilmarnock hit the post with a free kick. Daniel Armstrong hit the outside of the post. Scott Robinson, who's been quite lively as the front man, of course, replaced Kyle Vassell this afternoon. He went in down the left-hand side, had a tame shot when he probably should have done a little bit better. But of course, the big talking point was the Kevin Van Veen goal, ruled out after about 20 minutes. Mikael Mandron once again got in down Motherwell's left-hand side, Kilmarnock's right. Square ball into Van Veen. My first thought was Van Veen was offside. He looked offside for me, but I'm not in line with it. It went to VAR. Everyone thought the first check was for the offside. It was announced that there was a possible red card, a tackle by Sean Goss in the middle of the pitch. It took 3 or 4 minutes to come to the conclusion that wasn't a red card. The VAR official Mike Rincon must have thought he saw something. Then had to then go and look at the offside decision, which was decided it was offside. It's very, very close. I mean, it may be up for debate. I'm sure on Sports Scene tonight they'll have a good look at it, but probably with 2 minutes left of added time in this first half, it's still Motherwell who lead by that Blair Spittle goal after 4 minutes, which seems a long time ago.
It certainly does. So just looking at the top flight table, so Hibs in 5th spot now, 3 points clear off St Mirren. So at the bottom, Livingston 42 points, Motherwell 40, St Johnstone 36, Dundee United 31, Kilmarnock 31, Ross County, as things stand, right back in it on 30 points. Let's then get to the Pyramid Playoff semi-final, second leg. Brecon City against Spartans. There for us, Gavin Wallace.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Brecon City won, the Spartans won, and to be honest, Spartans looking comfortable in the first half, Brecon poor at times, but the first chance fell to Graney McGrath inside the box as he cracked the crossbar just inside the first couple of minutes. The opener, though, Kenny, came after 15 when Kevin McHattie got absolutely everything wrong from a Spartans corner. Brad White headed on the set piece, but the former Hearts player just couldn't clear. He couldn't get his feet out of the way either. And then, just on the stroke of half-time, it was game on for the Hedgemen as Fraser McLeod, who had just missed missed a chance a couple of minutes earlier, picked up the ball inside the box on the left-hand side, and it was beautifully placed well beyond Blair Carswell, and it nestled into the bottom right-hand corner. Far from a spectacle, but with the aggregate score, Kenny, now 2-1 to the Spartans, we really should and could have a game on in the second half. Brecon 1, the Spartans 1.
All to play for there. Gavin will bring us all the news throughout the afternoon on sports, and a commentary match this afternoon comes from McDermott Park. St Johnstone against Dundee United. There for us, Alan Preston, Neil McCann and Alistair Lammett.
Yeah, pretty even contest for the most part in this first half, Kenny, but St Johnstone it is who have the half-time advantage. 1-0 they lead thanks to Liam Gordon's third career goal just before half-time. There was chances at either end prior to that, but nothing remarkable to speak of other than maybe Graham Carey's right-footed effort from the angle that Birighitti did well to push over the top, but he couldn't do anything really about Liam Gordon's strike. A couple of minutes before the interval, the ball broke back to the St Johnstone skipper, who'd gone up for a long throw-in prior to that, and it came back and he hit it right-footed and low past Birighitti for the only goal of the game. And guys alongside me, Alan Preston and Neil McCann, it has been probably just about a deserved half-time lead, would you say, Alan, for St Johnstone?
I think so. You know, they had the shot that was well saved by the United keeper, and then they get the goal, obviously. I think the final third for both sides is lacking a bit of quality. Either the cross coming in or the free kick coming in has not been great. They've been hitting first man or floating it into the keeper's arms. But it's been a very nervy game, you know, and St Johnstone now have something to hang on to, and that's the big thing. I think Stevie McLean tactically has got it spot on, going to a flat four, being able to nullify Fletcher, get bodies in and around when he does win things on. But United need to do better in the second half. They need to get back in this game. They need to get the next goal, because if St Johnstone go 2 up, it's a long way back for United.
The left side, Alan, for me, for Dundee United has looked the most likely. I know McGrath's pulling in there, and I've said about McMahon, because of Dre Wright's position, trying to get in touch with Stevie May, it's opened McMahon up. That'll provide risk in the game of Dundee United if they're to try and expose St Johnstone. But with that, when one goal up, it will provide St Johnstone the opportunity to go and counter-attack into those areas. It's just how much risk St Johnstone want to take now that they're 1 up. I just wonder, as Alan, you've spoken about so often, they've been known as a back three team. They've been comfort there in terms of defensive responsibilities. Could you see them maybe going back to reverting to a back three to see something out, or do you think they're quite happy how it's going?
I think it'll determine on what United do. I think if United push another one up front to be up top with Fletcher, then you can see them going to a three. But while Fletcher's up on his own and it's McGrath bursting from the middle of the park, Phillips will have the responsibility to pick him up when he goes beyond. And until that happens, I think that they'll stick to their 4. But as soon as United do bring on someone, you know, that can go and play up there with them, you know, will it be Cujo or someone like that, you know, I don't know who they could actually bring on. Glenn Middleton could cause a problem for them as well, coming off the right hand side. But until Fletcher's got an actual partner up there, I think they'll stick with their 4.
As things stand, St Johnstone would open up a 5-point gap over United and Kilmarnock, but lots of football to be played at half time. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
Thanks to the guys there at McDermott Park. Confirmation coming through from Fir Park. The half-time whistle is gone. Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0. Leanne Crichton with me in the studio. You've had a good look at that long VAR check. So talk us through it.
Well, initially, as Craigs described, we thought it was the offside, and the offside alone with the Kevin Van Veen goal, which took some time. It then transpired that there was a red card check for a challenge by Sean Goss in the middle of the pitch for me, which after a couple of viewings, it was clear. I thought that there was no red card. It took a considerable amount of time, and then it was established that there was no red card and that in fact Kevin Van Veen was offside, which again is... Craigs had described, it's very marginal, it's really tight, but it does look to me that Van Veen is just marginally ahead of the ball. So it's one for the listeners to tune into Sports Scene if you would like a bit more clarity on it. But I think the time frame is the frustration, and that will be the frustration for fans that are at the game today, for Craigs who's sat reporting on the game unawares of what's actually being checked, and that there's very limited communication there. And you're having to kind of just pick the bones of it yourself. So a real frustration in regards to the length of time, but I think the decision was correct. No red card and offside.
As things stand, Leanne, looking at the foot of the table, Ross County 30 points, Kilmarnock 31, Dundee United 31, and I think there was a fair bit of chat last night. I've heard pundits talking perhaps prematurely when we look now about a Dundee derby next season. United probably were favourites for that game at St Johnstone today, given the run of form they've been on. But my goodness, it's tight, and Ross County right back in the mix. It's tight, really tight, and the reality is at the bottom table, at the bottom half of the table, even if you look at the run of form that Livingston have been on, really poor as well, but they're out of that relegation and playoff spot. Motherwell, I think today, if they can hang on to the 3 points in the win, they take themselves away from that playoff place as well. I don't see them dropping that amount of points between now and the end of the season. St Johnstone, Dundee United, Kilmarnock and Ross County on their day in any game can probably pick up points here and there, and that's actually what's killing it for other teams, because you'll look at it today from a Ross County perspective and go, brilliant, 3 points. But it's not good enough when you look at the results elsewhere, because i.e. Motherwell, are winning, but are keeping, I suppose, Kilmarnock and Dundee United down there as well. So it's going to be fine margins. It's going to go right to the wire. I don't see this being decided in the next couple of weeks. I think it will be a last day of the season job when you look at how tight it is. Yeah, and you look at the top of the table. Obviously, we knew that St Mirren, they had secured their place in the top six, but it was a disappointing final game before the split, losing at home to Kilmarnock, and they are behind this afternoon. A dreadful start through there at Easter Road, and that could be a pivotal game in the race for European places. Over 1,000 St Mirren fans at that match at Easter Road this afternoon, but they're trailing through there. So let's then get back to our commentary match this afternoon. It comes from McDermott Park, St Johnstone against Dundee United, and back to Alan Preston, Neil McCann and Alistair Lamond.
Thanks again, Kenny. We are poised to start the second period. It is the home side who will kick us off again, going from right to left in this second half. Stevie May with the pink boots gets us back underway as they look to preserve this advantage that they built up and end a 7-game run without a victory, and 10 or 9 games it's been since the last one at home, that victory over Rangers that Neil and I were discussing earlier on. Here they are coming forward early on, and it's Hallberg in a decent position, left hand side, cuts it back. There's so many bodies in Tangerine back, and not enough in blue, but James Brown's made something of it. Dre right now, right hand side of the box. He's well challenged though by Betts. Betts emerges with possession and just knocks it out of play there over on the far side, and it will be St Johnstone throw. No changes to either side at the break. That's given away by Cammy McPherson, and the United counter is on. It's Stephen Fletcher picking up possession from Harks. He's forced out to the left hand side. United have a few bodies in the box, but Fletcher couldn't find any. Comes off Gordon, out for a throw, but that was slack from McPherson. He can't afford to be doing that.
Yeah, that was poor. He shot himself in the foot there. I think Harks should have stayed on it though and just driven and committed the St Johnstone defenders. He rolled it into Fletcher, and I thought it was a poor decision.
The throw-in comes in, but St Johnstone work it clear. Gordon now just hammers it forward, returned by Mulgrew. Phillips in there and gets it to Hallberg, sliding in with Niskanen, but couldn't get anything on the ball, and now it's Montgomery. Feeds it into the left channel, couldn't link with Stevie May, and back goes Aina to pick the ball up and bring it forwards midway inside his own half. Aina plays it back the way to Mulgrew, and United we're looking to at least come back and take a point from this one. They don't want to get back into the habit of losing matches, which they were well accustomed to prior to this recent run of 3 straight victories. There's Aina midway inside his own half, looking for options. Not too many of them in Tangerine, but that's a good looking ball for Niskanen, just too much on it, and out comes Remy Matthews. A nice idea from Aina, in conversation now with his manager Jim Goodwin's, trying to get instructions on to his players, telling them what he's expecting of them in this second period as they look to get back into the game. Played long by Matthews, down the left it goes. Hallberg, Carey knocks it on for May. May back to Carey, left hand side, midway inside the United half. Back comes Niskanen, gets a toe on the ball. Carey was looking for a free kick, none forthcoming. It's Harks on the halfway line. He just nudged to the ground there by Phillips. And Carey will once again go and query the referee's decision making. It was two relatively similar challenges, one given as a free kick and one not in Dundee United's favour, but then Aina really wasteful as Jim Goodwin puts his head between his hands there. Couldn't believe the wastefulness from Aina when they'd won the free kick.
He's a decent enough defender, but passing and the range of pass is not his strengths, you know, and you can see that, because as soon as he gets on the ball, St Johnstone drop off and let him have it. They'll try and stop Mulgrew getting on it, they'll try and stop McMahon, Freeman, but they'll let Aina have it.
Yeah, as on loan from Huddersfield's Luke Aina, the 20-year-old centre-back, and still raw certainly, but promising enough. As St Johnstone have it on the halfway line, it's Considine, then Freeman wins it for United, Fletcher gets something on it, here's Harks nodding it back into the path of Fletcher as he's just offside. Play continues, out it goes to Beach on the far side. Now the flag goes up from the assistant as the move threatened to break down. He did look to have gone just offside Stephen Fletcher, and eventually the award is given.
Just a minute ago, Al, to be fair, but yeah, we can see that from up here. But yeah, just going back to the Carey one, he's been giving Alan Muir some amount of stick about free kicks. That one I didn't think was a free kick for him, and actually I thought Harks was just ahead of the player when he took the contact, so I did agree with the decision to give Harks that free kick, but he would be a referee. We'll ask Bobby Madden later on.
Yeah, Bobby Madden joining the programme in the last 90 minutes from about 5:30 with Kenny in the studio as St Johnstone win the free kick left hand side about 30 yards from the corner flag. 4.5 minutes played in this second period. St Johnstone leading by what could be a crucial goal to nil. Motherwell won up at half time against Kilmarnock. I think the second half will be just about getting underway there after a delay in the first period. Ross County 1 up on Livy, and Hibs 2-0 up against St Mirren as Considine throws the ball into the penalty area, glanced on by Gordon, who'll go for goal again as the ball breaks back to him. Pretty similar to the goal actually. This one is blocked and United clear their lines. Fletcher wins the header but only succeeds in knocking it down to Stevie May, and then Alan Muir will pull it back for a free kick, I think for a shove there by Fletcher as he won the header, and it will be another free kick to St Johnstone just inside United territory, left of centre, but it's a chance for St Johnstone to try and create something more as McPherson stands over the free kick. 50 minutes on the clock here at McDermott. McPherson fires it for the run of Stevie May, left of the box, plays it out to Carey. Carey low ball in, and it took a deflection at the near post off McGrath, and Birighitti able to collect it well. It could have gone anywhere off McGrath in truth, but fortunately for United, it ends up in the keeper's grasp. 1-0 it remains to St Johnstone.
To be honest, Alice, a brilliant take from Birighitti, but what a cross from Carey. That's how to whip a ball in. That's causing all sorts of trouble for people in there. But full marks to the goalkeeper, who's been pretty solid today, you have to say.
He has. Phillips hits the deck, but play goes on, and the ball's back with Remy Matthews in the St Johnstone goal. He's underlining the realisation in the squad pre-match that they're in the relegation dogfight, and described it as a disaster if they were to go down. Well, that might be a little bit strong, but certainly in footballing terms for the Perth side, they do not want to be going back into the champions. They haven't been in the second tier since they won promotion as champions in 2009, their 14th season in the top flight, and certainly if they can hold on for the victory today, it will go a long way to securing them another season. But United have other ideas. Looked like a handball by Niskanen, and indeed the assistant referee spotted that as well. 7 minutes played in the second period, and still St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
That could be all change at St Johnstone Al as well. Steve Brown's resigning at the end of the season, his father Jess coming back in, and I think the club's up for sale as well, so it might all be changing. It's certainly a better proposition to buy if you're a Premiership club.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about that. Not fancy it yourself, Alan?
I think the 25 acres of land round about are just a bit too pricey.
Free kicks taken. Freeman clears for Dundee United, but it's back up with Stevie May midway inside the United half, flicked forward by Carey, who's always dangerous when it's in that final third. Here's Niskanen coming back to defend for United. Now it's Aina, just pokes the ball up towards Fletcher. Considine's there first, but it breaks the way of Beach, and Beach plays it out to the left hand side to McMahon, who crosses the halfway line looking to start a United attack on that left hand side. Beach gets it once more and then plays it to Sibbald. Sibbald into the feet of McGrath. McGrath out to the right hand side. Niskanen, angle of the box, right hand side, comes off Montgomery, comes back to Sibbald, 25 yards from goal. Was he fouled there by Phillips? Play allowed to continue with McGrath in possession. Now Niskanen, right hand side, sends into the back post. Gordon clears. Still the United player down on the edge of the box. United can't work anything, and Carey picks up for St Johnstone. Montgomery left hand side, back into Carey. Still Sibbald is down, and St Johnstone come forward. Out to May, left hand side. St Johnstone looking for a second goal. Midway inside the United half, May comes in from the left hand side. He goes for goal. It was moving in the air, but not enough to trouble Birighitti. And Sibbald still lying prone at the edge of the
United fans are not happy.
And Jim Goodwin's going crazy, but United could have put it out as well.
Ball, exactly. They could have kicked the ball out themselves.
And they chose not to. So I know Jim's really displeased down there, but his players had the opportunity to kick it out as well.
I'm wondering if he's displeased about it's a foul. That could be why he's not happy, that he felt the foul would have been a better thing.
I thought Alan Muir played advantage though, and Niskanen then puts a cross into the box.
It was kind of unclear, because I'm not sure if he just felt it wasn't a foul.
I think it's a yellow card now. Yeah, I did. I thought Phillips caught Sibbald in a bit of a naughty one, to be honest.
Yeah, I reckon it was going to be a free kick, but it's unclear. Alan Muir didn't gesticulate as to say he was playing the advantage as such, but certainly United were still in possession, but nothing came of it. And there has been a goal meanwhile at Glebe Park. Brecon won, the Spartans won. The last we heard on the day, 2-1 to Spartans on aggregate. What's the score now, Gavin Wallace?
Brecon City 1, the Spartans 2, Al, and Blair Henderson, who scored the late winner in the last tie last week, has popped up to score home from close range. This time it's a great ball over the top. Cammy Russell on the left hand side, all he had to do was beat the defender and roll it across the box, and there was that man again, Blair Henderson, to stick it home. Brecon 1, the Spartans 2.
Well, that is a big goal. You'd have to say 3-1 on aggregate now to the Edinburgh side. As Alan,
Jim Goodwin's been yellow carded.
Right, okay, sorry,
the referee.
Yeah, for his complaints. As Sibbald comes back on. Now, I was about to try and check actually what the situation was with Albion Rovers down at the bottom. They were 3 points adrift of Bonnyrigg coming into today's fixtures, and both of the bottom two are winning. So as things stand, it would be Albion Rovers against Spartans going into the playoff final for a place in League 2 next season. Interesting times as Charlie Mulgrew picks up for Dundee United. Inside the St Johnstone half, every player barring Birighitti is inside the St Johnstone half as Aina comes forward looking for Niskanen, who'll just catch that and clips the ball back into the box. Harks attacks it. It's well defended, and St Johnstone player is Liam Gordon, I think, who won the header just on the edge of his own 6-yard box. It was brave defending, and he's taken a knock for his troubles.
Yeah, Harks is coming in late, and he just gets there first, the big centre back, and takes one in the side of the head. I tell you what, Niskanen did really well, didn't he? Just not only to get there, but just to clip a beautiful little ball just towards that 6-yard box. Big centre back looks okay, though he's back up on his knees, is he? Thankfully, yeah.
Brave defending from the goal scorer, whose strike late in the first half is the difference between the sides right now.
United are going to have to look at their bench. I think Jim has to shake it up a little bit, try and get more help up to Fletcher if he can. He's going to have to take a risk possibly at times as well. With that result up at Dingwall, Ross County right back into it.
Free kick then to St Johnstone as Liam Gordon comes racing off the pitch after having had that bit of treatment. He'll be okay to continue though. The St Johnstone captain eager to get back onto the field of play. Here he comes now as St Johnstone have possession. Phillips and Sibbald tangle in the middle of the park. Sibbald comes off better in that exchange, and United have it. Left hand side is Beach. quickly closed down by Draywright, knocked it back to McMahon. McMahon comes forward from left back up to the edge of the penalty area he goes, and it's poor control for once from Jamie McGrath, who allows Brown to step in, but BH has it back in the way of the attempted clearance. Then he treads on the ball, and Brown able to step in once more, and St Johnstone have it midway inside their own half. Stevie May short of options and just gives it straight back to United, and they'll have to be a little bit better in possession than that, St Johnstone, if they're to hold on to the advantage. 58 on the clock. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0, as United come forward looking for an equaliser. It's Sibbald on the halfway line. Infield it goes to Mulgrew. Mulgrew slides it forward to Harks midway inside the Saints half. Back to Sibbald, faced up by Phillips, into the feet of Fletcher it goes, who cleverly holds it in and then plays it out to BH. BH tries to get it beyond Brown, who stands up and gets in the way of the cross and takes a sore one for his troubles, and out for a throw-in over on the far side.
It's good defending, Alistair, though, because he gets himself between the ball and the intended area where BH wants to cross it. He's taking one right in the solar plexus there as well.
I think for any young boy, you're looking at Stephen Fletcher, the ball's played up to him, lovely control, knocks it wide and just sprints right into the box, and he's actually topping Niskanen to get him in as well. Really good.
Brown has recovered, and United get the game rolling once more. It's Aina, slides it forward for Fletcher pass. Again, it's a good pass, and now it's McGrath, edge of the box, trying to find room. Harks now out to the right hand side. Niskanen goes for goal, and it's Considine with the header, high up in air. Matthews can only punch it clear. Carey back to Montgomery, who gets it clear out to Stevie May. Not entirely convincing goalkeeping, but he did enough, Matthews, to get it clear, as Carey just took a knock there coming forward. And I think on this occasion Alan Muir has spotted the infringement, and there will be a free kick to St Johnstone midway inside their own half, left hand side. But good move there from Dundee United. I just thought there was an option for Fletcher to play out to the left hand side rather than right, as he did go in the end.
Had he just had the awareness just to flick it around the corner. BH is coming in at the back post, but do you remember when goalkeepers used to catch it? You remember that?
That was a long time ago, wasn't it? That was a long time ago.
I mean, he wasn't under any pressure, actually. I don't know if it was Niskanen that was in there, but he decided, I'm not going for this. And then he just punches it away and creates more havoc in the St Johnstone area.
Let's hear about another goal in Dingwall. Martin Dowden, what you got for us?
It's Ross County 2, Livingston 0. A ball in from the right, and substitute Alex Samuel got on it, nodded it back towards the far post, and it found
the
the net.
Penalty area as United come forward. Sorry to cut you off in your prime there, but the bottom line is that County have got a second goal there. United was trying to find the equaliser, but St Johnstone have dealt with it well. And here goes Hallberg up against Mulgrew. And what's the decision going to be here as Hallberg goes down? Oh, it's red card for Charlie Mulgrew. Alan Muir decides that was an obvious goal scoring opportunity for Hallberg as he came in on the angle from the left hand side, and United are reduced to 10.
I think there's another player round in the cover here, and I don't think it's a clear opportunity. My first thoughts, I've got no monitor, but I would really hope they go and have a look at this. I thought there was another player on the cover.
I thought Hallberg, I honestly thought Hallberg was going to get away from him. Mulgrew was treading water a little bit, and it's a cynical foul.
Yeah, let's hear from Leanne Crichton, who's watching things in the studio. Leanne, have you seen that back, or have you seen it at all yet?
Yeah, I've seen it back. I've not seen it from the angle that I can see the recovering defender. It is cynical from Charlie Mulgrew, there's no doubt. I think he misses the initial challenge with the ball, and he almost keeps his leg high enough to impede the attacking player. So I'll hold out for another replay with regards to the recovering defender, which ultimately will determine whether it's denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity or not.
No, I think the check's over.
Yeah, check's over. They'll need to get him back out the dressing room if they overturn it, because he's gone up the tunnel.
Charlie Mulgrew sent off for Dundee United, and the task for Jim Goodwin's side has got all the bigger. They trail by 1-0, and they are a man down for more or less half an hour.
I think Aina would catch him, but he is still the last man. But the referee's not to know Aina's going to catch him. He might not catch him. So for me, I think the referee's just got that one right.
Yeah, as soon as he goes down, the first check for me is there someone alongside. And I think Aina is making the ground up.
Yeah.
But we've seen Charlie Mulgrew do this before up at Ross County, where he goes with outside the boot, and it causes a whole calamity. They lost a goal with that one as well.
Let's see what transpires from the free kick as Johnstone look to add to Dundee United's pain. It's Cammy McPherson or Carey who takes the left-footed free kick to the back post, comes back across goal from Considine into the 6-yard box. Stevie May rises, but his header goes over the top. It's St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0. Let's hear about another goal at Glebe Park from Gavin Wallace.
Yep, it's another goal again this afternoon. Now it's for Brechin. Kieran Ingalls on the end of the ball, just inside the box. He nestled it into the far right-hand corner. It's now 2 each on the day, Al, and 3-2 in aggregate. We've got a real game in our hands now at Glebe Park.
Wow, it's going to be great drama to the last by the sounds of it in Brechin. As United come forward, as Niskanen caught Considine late there with the elbow. Alan Muir was quick to dash in, and the players from both sides coming together to dispute that challenge. Niskanen has certainly been penalised. Alan Muir is going to have a word with the Finn now. Is there going to be a card, and if so, which colour will it be?
I thought he just jumped in with his back.
It's a yellow card he's got out.
I didn't think it was his elbow, and Andy Considine certainly didn't like it. But I tell you, United just need to regain composure here. They maybe feel aggrieved, but they can't afford to go down to 9.
It's a robust challenge, Neil, nothing more than that.
Yeah, nothing more than that, I felt at the time. He's that type of player, he's kind of physical. You can see he's punching his own fists there, he's trying to cheer his teammates up. I mean, he realises it's an opportunity for him, although they're down to 10 men, if they can get something from this game.
So Ross County leading by 2-0. Looks like they're going to potentially cut the gap on Killie and Dundee United as things stand. County currently 4 behind. Here comes St Johnstone. It's Halberg again trying to get in on that same angle at which he caused Charlie Mulgrew real problems a few minutes ago, but that time he's the man that's penalised. And it's a Dundee United free kick just inside their own penalty. They've got the game moving quickly again.
It's been an area of real pain for Dundee United, that channel that Halberg keeps running into, Alan. That's the area. He's made, what, 6-7 of those that I've counted in this game alone.
You've got to say that's good management from Stephen McLean, because he's clearly identified something, probably in tandem with his analysts and so on, and his coaching team. Yeah. He's identified a weakness there and he's exploited it.
I think it's a young boy, he's as I said earlier, he's very rough, he's very physical, but he gets dragged into areas at times he probably doesn't want to be in that, and allows Halberg into that area, and it's cost United. It really has, and it's certainly cost Charlie Mulgrew. Mulgrew was never catching Halberg. No, you could see that.
Yet another goal at Glebe Park. Gavin Wallace.
Brechin City are in front, Al, on the day, 3-2. Bobby Beattie this time. Fraser McLeod from distance. They get blocked and deflected, landed at the feet of number 20, Botti Biabi, and he smashed it home. 3-2 to Brechin on the day, 3 each in aggregate.
And folk didn't want playoffs in our game.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? Great drama. And extra time and penalties potentially there then, as we've got 25 minutes left here at McDermott Park. There's an injury to Halberg, I think it is, who's down on his right knee, just awaiting treatment. St Johnstone leading by a goal to 0, but Dundee United just a few minutes ago reduced to 10 when Charlie Mulgrew hauled down Milker Halberg, and Alan Muir decided straight away that it was denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. That was corroborated by the VAR, who's Greg Aitken. And United trailing, and also a man fewer for the closing stages.
Oh, it's incredible how the reflection of a league table can change in the space of, what's that, 60 odd minutes, 66 minutes. I mean, we're talking about Dundee United 3 in the bounds. Was that first time in 10 years they could have got 4 in the bounds, looking good. I'm talking about potential Dundee derby. St Johnstone leading 1-0 here. Ross County 2 up. Suddenly that table is very, very tight again. Charlie Mulgrew, straight red card, will miss the next game automatically. I mean, it's amazing how things can swing.
This is a bold one as well, because Halberg's a midfield player and Theo Bair's a striker, so it looks like they're going to play Bair up, and I would play Stevie May off him. Slight change for St Johnstone here.
Yeah,
but bold move.
Substitution Alan is alluding to is Bair for Halberg. Goal at Easter Roads. Let's hear about it. Brian McLaughlin.
St Mirren are back in it with 25 minutes left to play, and it was a long through ball over the top. Alex Grieve through 1-on-1 with Marshall, and he slipped it underneath the body of the Hibernian goalkeeper who was coming out to meet him, and it's now St Mirren back in the game in front of 1,200 fans here at Easter Roads. Hibernian 2, St Mirren 1.
There's a high boot in there from Considine. The United fans away to a left baying for a card, at least from Considine. All that's going to happen is it's going to be a Dundee United free kick, and Considine escapes further punishment. But this game is not done and dusted, despite St Johnstone having the advantage of both the one goal and an extra man.
What Stephen McLean won't want them to do, Alice, to defend deep and just defend their box. Yeah, they've got a man advantage, a goal advantage, but go and get the second. Go and kill the game off.
Quarter of the game to go. Here's McGrath with the free kick. Clips it in. Headed away by the ultra experienced Considine. Back goes Freeman. He just knocks it forwards. Niskanen will give chase, but Montgomery's there well ahead of him. Clearance comes off Niskanen. Helped on by McPherson. Here's Stevie May picking up. And now it's Carey. Carey out to the right hand side where May has made the move. He knocks it forwards, looking for Bear. It comes off BH there, and it's throw into St Johnstone over on the far side, about 25 yards or so from the corner flag, and May just leaves this to James Brown.
The substitution that Stevie's made, he's brought Bear out to the left side, switched Carey to the right wing, and now Dre Wright is playing that Halberg run. You see him going in that channel with the runs.
St Johnstone hoist it into the penalty, and Bear, rather awkward looking knockdown for Stevie May. The United fans behind that goal felt it was a handball as well, as United prepare a change of their own. St Johnstone coming forward, Bear bearing down on Aina, who hits the deck. Alan Muir didn't see anything wrong with the challenge, but Birigiti picks up in any case, and it will be young Rory McLeod who's going to come on in place of Kieran Freeman. So United really having to go for it here. It's an interesting change. McLeod is a young man with a seemingly bright future, and he's going to go up and partner Stephen Fletcher as it's all change for United.
Yeah, he's a very clever young man, a very good football player, lovely left foot. So that'll mean Niskanen will come and play on the right hand side now.
Yeah, he'll drop back a bit, won't he? But we still have attack in mind. There's an infringement there by McLeod on McPherson in the middle of the park. St Johnstone will have the free kick. Lots happening this Saturday afternoon throughout the divisions, and remember, you can watch Sports Scene tonight, 7:30 on BBC Scotland, for the best of the Premiership highlights. St Johnstone then with a free kick on the halfway line. 20 minutes left here at McDermott. St Johnstone 1, 10-man Dundee United 0. The free kick's flighted to the edge of the box. Gordon wins it, but BH collects on the edge of his own box, launches it high. Brown heads it down out to the right hand side, where Carey picks up, moves down the right touchline. Lovely flick inside for May, gets it back. Carey tries to cut it back, comes off Sybil. St Johnstone corner. Carey's such an intelligent and delightful to watch footballer.
Really good from both of the veterans out there, we'll call them. Clever. He's trying to drag that with his right foot as well, and just wins a corner. He looks a little bit unhappy with the outcome, but I don't think Stephen McLean will be complaining too much.
Corner kick right hand side then to be taken by that man Graham Carey, left footed, as St Johnstone look for a second goal. In swingers, I think he's going for goal almost himself.
BH and Stevie May getting involved here, and I tell you,
there we go.
Yeah, it's kicking off. That was going before the corner was taken, let me tell you. They were bumping, BH was pulling at Stevie May, they released, and then BH walked right over the top of Stevie May, pushed him to the ground almost with his body weight, and then it continued from there.
Alan Muir certainly got a bit of sorting out to do. The corner went right onto the roof of the net, which is what my eye was on, and
Stevie May goes down very easily, and BH has a go at him. He berates over the top of him, and then BH falls over Stevie May. There's nothing in it, but BH isn't happy.
Yellow apiece, is the outcome.
It's a bit right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit right.
But understandably, passions are high with so much at stake. And eventually Birighitti will take the goal kick. We've got 18 minutes of the 90 remaining. St Johnstone leading by a goal to nil. It's Motherwell 1, Killie 0, Ross County 2, Livy 0, Hibs 2, St Mirren 1. And in that playoff match for between the Highland League champions Brecon and Lowland League champions Spartans, it's 3-2 in the day, 3 each on aggregate, heading for extra time. Here's Considine clearing for St Johnstone. Back goes Bates, just hooks it over his head and over the halfway line. Brown returns it. There's Carey picking up. Lovely first touch, second touch isn't so good. And McMahon will just clear his lines. Now playing in it centre back. McMahon in absence of Mulgrew. Here's McLeod, the substitute, has come on. As United try and force the issue and look for a way back into the game. St Johnstone get the lines cleared on. Bayer looking to take on Niskanen, who sticks to his task well. He's won it back for United, plays it infield for Harks. Harks back to Niskanen, edge of the box, right hand side. Now Sybil, 30 yards from goal. Onto the right foot, plays it out to Niskanen, right hand side, stands up to the back post. Fletcher, it's over him and then it comes off. McLeod at the back post. St Johnstone putting bodies in the line and taking a knock in there, but ultimately they've prevented United getting a shot in on target, and it remains with 16.5 minutes left. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
That was a good play from United. Sybil calming it down, playing out to Niskanen. It's a nice ball in. Fletcher's coming in on the back of it. It's a lovely flick to get away, and it just hits young McLeod and drops into the keeper's arms.
There's a wee bump on Stephen Fletcher, I felt, at the back post as well. He didn't claim for anything, so he's obviously not feeling he's been impeded. But yeah, I think the awareness of young McLeod just off there. Interesting for me though, Alan, is that he chooses young Rory McLeod, and he spoke about how pleased he was that Glenn Middleton was back into the fold, whether he feels that he's ready for even 15-20 minutes. It's an interesting shout to put the kid into this environment.
Yeah, Middleton's had real injury problems. I think it's his hamstring particularly, and he's a player who relies a lot on his pace and perhaps just not quite ready, albeit you would imagine he could probably do 15 minutes, but no sign of him just yet. It was Rory McLeod who got the nod, and you get the feeling, guys, that at this stage Dundee United would surely just bite your hand off for a point in this game.
Oh, without a doubt. We're down to 10 men.
And avoid St Johnstone opening that gap up, which would, I don't know, almost take them safe, would you say?
Well, not so long ago they were talking about 4 points, a draw and a win would be enough. Yeah. You spoke about 5 earlier, Alan, but yeah, this would go a huge way of securing their position in the Premiership.
15 left then. St Johnstone coming forward. It's Phillips from distance, goes for goal. Birighitti able to collect. I think it took a slight nick on its way through, maybe took a little bit of the pace off it. Birighitti gathers, still 1-0 St Johnstone as Birighitti just drops the ball at the edge of his penalty area and then launches it over the halfway line. There goes Fletcher attacking it. McLeod gives chase, but Gordon, the man whose goal separates the sides, gets it back to Matthews, who stays cool and just plays it out to James Brown, keeping possession for the home side. Stephen McLean looking for his first win in his second game as St Johnstone interim manager. Theo Bayer takes a heavy touch, but no United player close enough to him to capitalise, so Bayer comes down the left. Montgomery now back in field for Wright can't get it past Sybil. He came back off Wright.
It's really poor out, you know. They've got a man advantage. They need to spread the pitch, get wide, open the pitch up, keep possession of football, make this United team work. They're a man down already, just make them burst their shape and you'll break them with a counter-attack.
Here's McMahon coming forward, out to the right hand side to Niskanen. Niskanen kills it with the first touch. Montgomery and Bayer trying to close him down. Niskanen goes back the way to McMahon inside the centre circle. 13.5 left. That pass out towards McGrath's cut out by the sliding Cammy McPherson, out of play for a throw-in over on the far side to United, but 15 yards inside St Johnstone territory.
They'll get a chance, United. They will get a chance. It's just whether or not St Johnstone can keep it out, or St Johnstone score the second before they get it, but they will get a chance.
Here's Niskanen again, seeing a lot of the ball on the right hand side up against Montgomery, tries to take him on the outside. Good looking cross, a great ball in on Fletcher, can't turn it into the net. McLeod couldn't get it at the near post, Fletcher at the back post, neither could get a meaningful touch and is behind for a goal kick. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
It's a wonderful cross from Niskanen, he just shifts it out with his feet and whips it in. Fletcher's applauding him, and rightly so. He comes in at the back post, and I think Stephen Fletcher, maybe 6-7 years ago, would have got on that. It's a brilliant ball in. He's almost on the end of it.
He's so close to it, Alan. I'm just looking at the side on replay there. I mean, he's a whisker away from it. A wicked cross from Niskanen. He just gets a half-yard past Montgomery and flashes it across the face of the goal.
Goal kick taken. Bear and Aina contest the high ball. Breaks St Johnstone's way. May looking to help it on. Gets the break of the ball off. Niskanen down the left comes Stevie May, making some good yards up to the edge of the penalty, the left hand side. Poked away by Sibbald, only as far as right. Right goes for goal, straight down the throat of Birighitti. Didn't really get a hold of the shot, Dre Wright. And it's a comfortable take for the United keeper, still 1-0 to the home side. Up it goes to Fletcher quickly from Birighitti, then Harks forward for McLeod. McLeod waiting on support from the left hand side. It comes from Beach. Looking for options. He goes back the way to McMahon, still 20 yards or so inside St Johnstone's half. Aina now plays it forward to Sibbald central area. Dre Wright trying to force him back the way, but it goes out to Beach left hand side, takes a flick on its way into the middle, and Matthews claims that one, catches that one under no real pressure. 12 minutes to play. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
I think it's been a good response for United since they've gone down to 10 men. You know, they've played a couple of chances, crosses coming into the box. It doesn't really look, St Johnstone are not playing as if they've got a man advantage. They're not stretching them, they're not getting into the wider areas and keeping it. It's been quite a difficult watch for St Johnstone since they've got
here they come though.
Here.
Here they come. It's Carey finding May, edge of the penalty, just left of centre. Good bit of footwork, but then well closed down by combination of Aina and Niskanen to block the shot. Here comes Montgomery though, left hand side. Carey just inside the penalty area, back for Wright. Carey once more, still in that angle, plays the no look pass to Montgomery, left hand side of the box, tries to play it into the middle, but Aina blocks across, and Dundee United work it half clear. St Johnstone though trying to keep it alive. McGrath picks up, but he can't stray right. Yes, he did. Free kick St Johnston's way, much to the disgust of the huge Dundee United support inside McDermott Park. And St Johnstone will have the free kick midway inside the United half as Zach Rudden prepares to come on for St Johnstone. Just getting a final word from his manager Stephen McLean.
Yeah, I think it would be Rudden for possibly May coming off. But you know, St Johnstone just need to, be professional, play the game. Keep the ball, move it from side to side. Don't take too many touches. You've got a man advantage here and a goal advantage.
Yeah, Zach Rudden on loan from Championship champions Dundee. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up next season. Will he remain in the Premiership with Dundee? Stevie May, the man to come off, the like-for-like change there at the top of the park for St Johnstone, who will look to try and add to their advantage here. 1-0 they lead with 10 minutes to play. A man advantage as well after the dismissal of Charlie Mulgrew in the second half. It's Cammy McPherson curls the free kick towards the back post, and the free kick then goes Dundee United's way inside their own penalty area. It was Harks back doing some good defending, and he was fouled as well, and it's a free kick to the visitors. 10 to play, 1-0 St Johnstone leads.
It's a massive 10 minutes for St Johnstone, but even more so for Dundee United. If they can get a draw, what this would do for them.
I'm sure Steve McLean won't be admitting that a win puts them safe, but as we've been discussing, it certainly would go a long way to consolidating their place in the Premiership for another season. Here's St Johnstone breaking forward, looking to try and make sure of the victory. It's bare left hand side. Looks like he showed a bit much of that to Aina, who slides in and does concede the corner.
Do you know what, they get the corner, but it's a really poor touch.
Horrendous.
Theo Bear, honestly, it's gone 5, 6, 7 yards away from his grasp, and he just control the ball, get it under control, then go and commit the centre back. They're already a man down, overexpose him in the wide area, and then you get your joy. But I mean, they ended up getting a corner, but by his great deal of fortune.
He's got the centre half exactly where he wants him, playing in the right back area, and he takes such a heavy touch, it makes the centre half favourite to win it.
I think it's fair to say he's yet to convince the St Johnstone fans of his worth. Theo Bear, Cammy McPherson preparing to take the corner, left hand side, back post ball, Gordon's in there again, couldn't direct it on goal, but it does come back to McPherson near post ball this time, blocked by Sibbald, and then McGrath turns away. 7,071 inside McDermott Park. A really good crowd for such a meaningful, important game at the bottom of the Premiership table. 8 minutes to play as United have the throw in. There's been a sending off in Dingwall. Martin Dowden, who's it for?
It's for Livingston. Curtis Guthrie has been sent off for violent conduct after a VAR review. He jumped with Keith Watson, put out an elbow, his left elbow, and appeared to catch Watson. Oh, I thought that was a wonderful goal for County there. Catch Watson on the face. I've seen it back thanks to the wonders of technology, and I have to say I think there is merit in the decision. Livingston down to 10, Ross County 2, Livingston 0.
Ross County looking good value for some precious points at home there to seemingly narrow the gap to just 1 point on both Kilmarnock and Dundee United, the way things stand right now. But there's still time for all of those scorelines to change as Sybil picks up for Dundee United. They trail by 1-0. McGrath now 30 yards from goal, blocked in his forward pass by Bairn. It comes to Montgomery, sliding in goes McGrath. He's done really well to win that back, right hand side for United. The midfielder plays it to Sybil looking for options. Into the feet of McLeod it goes. McLeod midway inside the St Johnstone half, tracked by Brown, plays it out to the left to Beich infield to Harkes and gives it back to the Australian left back. McMahon now square for Aina, about 15 yards inside his own half, plays it forward. It's a poor pass from Aina. It's going to go out and play down near the corner flag. It will be a throw in, and United can try and pin St Johnstone in here and force them into an error as they take the throw in deep in their own territory. Not in any hurry with 6 minutes to play at McDermott and leading by a goal to nil.
No, sorry, I was just about to say Jim Goodwin's ushering them down. That was as good as kicking for touch as you're ever going to see. I mean, it has pinned St Johnstone in there.
Considine though with a long throw will try and get it forward, looking for the flick on from Bear, but Niskanen's done well against him, and then down goes McGrath. It's a cheap free kick to give away by Daniel Phillips.
Do you know, it's cheap, Al, but I tell you what's cheaper is Theo Berno winning a standard header. You know, it's thrown up to his head, he misses it completely. I mean, he's no easy to miss, the big fella. He's 6'3" himself.
He's not covered himself in glory since he's been at the club. You know, a lot of endeavour from him, but not a lot of quality.
This is a chance for Dundee United, right hand side, about 20 odd yards from the goal line, just a few yards in from the right touchline. It's Sybil over it with the left foot, looking to find a teammate and looking to find an equaliser here for Dundee United. Sybil sends it in central area, it's flicked away by Considine. It'll go out for a throw in over on the far side to Dundee United, down near the corner flag on their left as they attack things. 5 minutes to play at McDermott. Nervy times for both sets of fans, and no doubt all involved at both clubs as United come forward. There's a handball in there by McGrath as he tried to control the ball. Alan Muir in a good position, and it will be a St Johnstone free kick deep in their own territory and a welcome bit of respite.
Yeah, they'll just take their time now, St Johnstone, but they've got to play clever here. They really have. You know, they've defended reasonably well. A couple of balls flashed across them. I've got to say that Matthews has not really had much to do in the whole game.
No. They'll need to take a bit more risk. I think they'll need to throw someone up there.
Cujo's coming on.
Young McLeod has looked sharp on it across the ground, but he hasn't really looked a threat with Stephen Fletcher.
No, I've not noted down any real chances in this half for either side, to be honest. The only major incident was the dismissal of Charlie Mulgrew, the straight reds, for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. But that goal from Liam Gordon 2 minutes before the break looks like it's going to prove crucial unless United can do something in the dying stages here. It's Sybil right hand side for the visitors, looking to find the feet of McLeod, but Considine's there first, then Phillips is caught late by Sybil. But St Johnstone come forward. It's Rudden running at Aina, about 30 yards from goal. Aina standing him up, but it will break for Bear, who slots it over the crossbar. It sat up for him nicely, Theo Bear, but he's just leaning back all the way, and it remains with 3.5 to play. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.
Zach Rudden does well. He step over, he's trying to create half a yard himself, I think, just to open that right foot out, and when he rolls it inside, Theo Bear just has to make sure His body's over the top of the ball. Make sure you're hitting target at least. He does neither. He leans back, he opens his foot out, and it's a horrible attempt.
A chance to become a hero. Really good play by Rudden, as you said. Lovely little layoff to Bear, and he just gets it horribly wrong, Neil. It doesn't look
just
comfortable.
Concentrating hitting the target. You're 1-0 up. Make the keeper make a save at least.
Matthew Cudjoe on for Ian Harkes for the closing 3 minutes here plus stoppage time. All eyes on the fourth official to see how long that will be. St Johnstone hoping for a small number as Rudden tries to take them up the park, tracked by Sibbald. Rudden's wriggled away from him and gets it into Bear. Bear knocks it back for Montgomery. St Johnstone keeping possession as they have to do at this stage with a man advantage. It's Dre Wright on the halfway line. Cudjoe trying to stay with him, but the pass goes to McPherson, then out to the right hand side for Carey now. St Johnstone have Dundee United exactly where they want them. Little step over. Carey still has it. Cuts back. Oh, he's done brilliantly away.
Stop it, son.
Oh, he tries to go near post to give Birighitti the eyes. Birighitti turns it behind, and Carey, after some brilliant work, might just have been better picking out a teammate if he could, but it's a corner to St Johnstone.
You know what, it's wonderful skill by him, and he's got the right to take the shot, but it's never going to go in there. A keeper should never get beat. Rudden's pulled out for the cutback, and he's given him dog's abuse.
Wonderful skill, wasn't it?
Yeah, his little piece of skill. I'm not going to shout at him for the lack of cutback there.
You're telling me if you were his manager?
Yeah, I might have been a different outcome. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, especially if Dundee United break up play here and go up the other end and score, but they're not going to just at the moment because it's behind for another corner on this near side this time.
I'd be taking it short. I would be. I would bring in 2 out. United then have to bring 2 out, keep the ball. We've got just over a minute and a half to go, plus whatever's added on. Go and get it short, keep the ball, see the game through.
Chris Graham, the fourth official, no sign of the board yet. But here comes the corner from Cammy McPherson, left hand side for St Johnstone, looking to see out the victory. A precious victory it would be. Ball's cleared by McGrath, comes out to right, knocks it back to Phillips, who quickly plays it out to the left hand side for McPherson. McPherson looks to put it back into the middle, flicked on by Gordon, and then Considine was in there as well. It's behind for a goal kick. At this stage, Alan, why are they not just taking it to the corner?
Exactly. You see the game through. I get it that they want to try and score a second, but McPherson had acres of space there. No one really coming out to close them down. Just take your time, get yourself to the corner.
Goal kick taken, picked up in the middle of the park by United. Back it goes to McMahon, who rather slices the ball forward, and United have given away the free kick, and Jim Goodwin is cutting a frustrated figure down there as the sides look destined to drop the 3 points.
It's Edwards, and I think Edwards, for me, Edwards goes and plays centre forward.
Yeah, Edwards and Fletcher up top. You've got to think that'll be the outcome here.
It's Scott McMahon who's coming off, but Ryan Edwards is going to get the duration of injury time, whatever that might be, to add his weight to height to the attack alongside McLeod and Fletcher. 6 minutes, my goodness, 6 minutes of added on time.
See, this is where United could be going to a back three if possible.
I was going to say that, and Niskin is now playing right of a three.
Yeah.
Centre back, and then they've got Sibbald. Is that McGrath in the middle? Cudjoe, McLeod.
They've got to go for it.
St Johnstone have just got to spread the pitch here. They're so narrow, Dundee United. Just spread the pitch, keep the ball.
St Johnstone in possession, right hand side. McPherson plays it short to Carey. Carey's lost it though, and Dundee United just whack it upfield, and McLeod will give chase. Montgomery takes a poor touch, and United almost able to capitalise, but it breaks kindly for Brown, who finds McPherson, who in turn plays it to Phillips. Phillips trying to spin, he's caught in possession, and then it looks like he's committed the foul there on McGrath, and the United will have the free kick and a chance to throw everyone forward to try and get on the end of it. The free kick's about 15 yards inside St Johnstone half.
It's a different proposition now, Alistair, with Edwards on as well, a lot of height in there, and this is going to be United's best opportunity, a free kick where they can load the box. St Johnston's game management at this period of time has been quite poor.
McGrath then with the free kick, just about everyone forward for United as he flights it towards the back post. Edwards rises, knocked away by Considine out of the penalty area. Cudjoe collects, knocks it now for Aina midway inside the St Johnstone half. Good bit of footwork from the big defender, plays it infield, but Sibbald can't bring it under control. The pass was slightly wayward, and St Johnstone come forward. It's right threading it through for Rodden. And now picked up by Carey. Carey right hand side for St Johnstone. Still they're coming in towards the penalty area rather than trying to keep possession. And there's
such an experienced player as well.
The edge of the box,
honestly, he's such an experienced player. It's I hate it myself, you know, running into the corner, but just run it into space wide. Commit somebody to you. I mean, United have got 4 players up top. They're so overloaded. There's so much space in that 45 or that half attacking half for St Johnstone just to keep the ball.
4 minutes of the added on time remaining. It was a yellow card shown. It was a Carey, yeah, for the challenge there on McGrath at the edge of the box. Ball's played forward long to the edge of the box. McGrath picks up, goes back the way to the halfway line to Bates. Bates will just try and get this up towards the penalty area once more. One for Fletcher to attack, which he does well. Gets there ahead of Gordon. McLeod can't make anything of it. Brown there ahead of him, and Rudden will chase this, but he'll chase it in vain. It'll be collected by Jim Goodwin at the edge of his technical area, and he hands it to Aina, who quickly takes the throw in. We've played 3 minutes of stoppage time. We've got 3 left to play as Birighitti from midway inside his own half launches it again, looking for Fletcher. Fletcher gets the slightest glance. Brown knocks it out of play over in the far
Brown's
side. He's got cramp, no wonder, as St Johnstone continue to work hard to try and preserve the 1 goal advantage they have deep in stoppage time. Again, Fletcher attacks the ball and wins it. Gordon though gets it clear up to the halfway line, but Aina for Sibbald. Sibbald now out to the left hand side. It's McLeod. McLeod on the left. Can he pick out a teammate? Comes to Fletcher off the post.
An effort.
Oh my goodness, what a shot that was! And Fletcher cannot believe it rebounds to safety. He caught it so sweetly on the volley, but it comes back off the upright. You come United once more. Fletcher again wins the header, but it's gone wide a goal. Oh my goodness, so close to a dramatic equaliser.
That's a brilliant cross from young McLeod, and Fletcher catches it so sweetly on his lovely left foot, and it comes crashing off the post. And here comes the cavalry now for St Johnstone. This is the back three that we've been saying they should have went to. Unbelievable. Incredible. What a chance that was for Fletcher. It's a wonderful hit from him.
Yeah, that's eye shut stuff from Stephen McLean, because when the ball just falls to Fletcher, it's so perfect for him. He's stepping onto it, and he does catch it brilliantly. I mean, that's inches from finding the top corner. What a ball from young McLeod, you're right, Alan. It just perfectly weighted.
Now they're not going to make the change of Dre Wright at the moment, and Craig Brown can't recover here. He sat down in the box. Physio's on now, so Dre Wright was coming off. Mitchell was going on to go to their back three, but now that Brown sat down, Dre Wright's away back on. You'd think that Brown would be the one that would be replaced.
Yeah, we're going to be into added on time very shortly, as Brown, who's gone down with cramp a couple of times now, gets a bit of treatment, and it's Alex Mitchell who's waiting to come on for the closing seconds of the game. And St Johnstone look to see out what would be an absolutely massive victory if they can see it out, as they look like they're going to be able to do. Dundee United coming within inches of a dramatic late equaliser there, as the change will now be made, and it is Brown who's been replaced by Mitchell as we enter the 6 minute of stoppage time. But there will be further time added on, as indicated by Alan Muir after that stoppage, and on comes Mitchell as Remy Matthews prepares to take the goal kick. 30 seconds of stoppage time that was allotted due to be played, but there will be more. The fourth official's telling Jim Goodwin, don't worry, there will be further time added on, as Matthews takes the goal kick over the halfway line. It goes back, goes Sibbald, flicked on by Baird. Looked like he had 2 hands in the back of Sibbald, but Rudden picks up as no free kick is given. Rudden can't find a teammate, and it's Niskanen playing it off Rudden, and it's a goal kick to Dundee United, but they need it up the other end. We're into stoppage time, beyond stoppage time, as Brown makes his way into the dugout. He's put in a fair old shift. Dundee United still have hopes of clawing a goal back there and earning a point. It's a lovely little flick from Sibbald to find Cujo, right hand side, about 15 yards inside St Johnstone territory. They need to get it forward. Cujo out to the right for Niskanen. Is there to be one last gasp equaliser, one last chance? Niskanen's given it away. Baird though can't keep it. Breaks kindly for St John's, but then Phillips slices it out of play. My goodness, the nerves out there are something else. Niskanen then will take the throw in for Dundee United, midway inside the St Johnstone half. Down the right it goes to McLeod. McLeod turning away from a couple of St Johnstone players, puts it into the box.
Ball.
That's a good ball. Dre right back there, heads it clear, and then Carey knocks it over the halfway line, chases his own clearance. Aina back in towards the edge of the penalty area. Fletcher goes up, Considine does enough to put him off. Matthews should collect it, and that should be just about enough to see St Johnstone through to the 3 points. We've played 7 minutes and more of stoppage time. It's St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0. This could be massive for Stephen McLean and St Johnstone as they look to cling on and move themselves 5 points clear of both Dundee United and certainly last we heard Kilmarnock, who were trailing at Fir Park to Motherwell, and that would just about put them safe, you would have to imagine, with 4 games remaining. There's going to be one last free kick, Considine on McLeod, and United will have surely one final opportunity.
Aina's got to go up, he's got to push
Everyone's
Aina up.
got to go up. What about Birighitti?
Yeah, get you up there. Al, give him a whistle. I'm not sure why he's not going up.
Well, they've got nothing to lose, have they?
Yeah, exactly. The game's done now, so
this has to be the final opportunity.
We've played 8 minutes of stoppage time. Sybil from the right hand side, midway inside the St Johnstone half, left footed. Can he find a United head? This has come off Liam Gordon at the back post. Can Bear just complete the clearance? He knocks it down the right, only as far as Page. Page returns it back into the danger area. It's over Niskanen, away from
Run it to the corner.
Now Phillips has got to just see this out, just plays it long up into
game management.
United final third. Alan Muir still doesn't blow the final whistle. 8.5 minutes we've played, 6 were allotted. It's Sybil forward, looking for Edwards. Edwards flicks it on, edge of the box. McLeod can't bring it under control.
That's it.
It's got to be. Phillips plays it out to the left-hand side. And there goes the final whistle. An absolutely monumental victory for St Johnstone. It's under Stephen McLean, his second game in charge. And they have seen it out with a hard-fought 3 points over Dundee United, who find themselves still very much in the relegation mire down there, with Ross County seemingly earning a victory up in Dingwall as well. It's going to get even closer down at the bottom, but ultimately it's the Liam Gordon, the St Johnstone captain, strike just before the interval which has won it for St Johnstone. Charlie Mulgrew sent off just after the hour mark for hauling down Melchior Hallberg and denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, and that made Dundee United's task all the harder. They weren't really able to test Remy Matthews until a couple of minutes to go inside injury time. Stephen Fletcher rattled a volley towards goal, but it came back off the upright, and that was that as far as Dundee United's opportunities were concerned. And so it finishes. St Johnstone 1, Dundee United 0.